Should be in that. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Good to see y'all here tonight. Welcome to Late Night. This is Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures, and I am Bill. Catch up on the chat real quick, see who all's here. Got George Valentine. He came in. Hey, how's it going? We got Mr. Eldor. He's here with us tonight. Good to see you, sir. Cobweb Collector came in. Good to see you. Radical Toys is here. Good evening, Adam. Good to see you. And our favorite storyteller, Duchess of Darkness, is here. Good to see you, my dear. And Ted Mielik has showed up. Good to see you, sir. Glad you're here. The Thanos copter has arrived. Good to see you, sir. And I believe that catches me up, and I can bring in my co-host real quick here. And I want everybody to say hello to Motu Joneser.
What's up, everybody? It's Joneser, your favorite comic book guy. So let's do this! What's up, everybody? Bill?
Hey, man, how's it going? It's been an interesting day. I played hooky from work and decided I wasn't going to work on Saturday for a change, and I stayed at home and did absolutely jack shit all day long.
I'm proud of you. That's what you should do on a weekend. Relax, recharge, get ready for Monday. It's going to creep too soon.
Absolutely. It'll be here before I know it. And as a result of that, I have done no Oh, there's someone here named Christina. It's good to see you, Christina. I'm glad you came to join me tonight. But anyway, I didn't plan a show. Matter of fact, Jones was like, what are we doing tonight? And this was earlier today. And I'm like, I don't know. I haven't planned anything yet, but I do want to do a show. And he goes, let's do a show where we just babble and do Memberberries. And I'm like, sounds good to me. Of course, we're absolute professional babblers, so the babbling is going to become easy. Epic Badger is here. Howdy, folks. Good evening. Good to see you, Jesse. And Pop Actor says, doesn't your boss watch these videos? I asked off. I just told them I wasn't going to work. But I don't know if he watches them or not. Probably not. There are some people at work who are supposedly subscribed to me because they think it's funny that a man goes on toy hunts. I don't care. I told him, I said, I really don't give a shit as long as I get the subscribers, and I need subscribers, and I need them badly. I'm a little over 750 now.
No, you're getting there, man. You're getting there. I got over all that crap. Like my in-laws used to pick on me a little bit if we go to Walmart and I'd be like, hold on, I'm gonna go check out the toy section, and at first I would get the how old are you, but right. They've seen my basement, they've seen what I do on the channel. My wife's even come around where they know what it is, they know what I am, and once you get past the how old are you, and then you can go back to being you.
Absolutely. I mean, who cares how old we are, to be honest with you? And toy collecting is one of those things, most people who collect toys are grown now. I don't think kids play with toys. I think little kids play with little kid toys, but the stuff that we play with, I don't think the kids are buying that shit. Motu Origins, no. Superpowers, no. All that's nostalgic stuff. The kids don't give a shit about it. It's us. It's us grown-ups. It's us old guys who remember that shit. We're the ones that it's for.
Right. Well, you can even look at what properties are being developed in the toy section. What's there? We got G.I. Joe. We got Transformers. We got Superpowers. We got Ninja Turtles. We got Masters of the Universe. We got, where's the new stuff?
The 80s all over again, Jack.
There you go.
As far as the toy section goes, as far as that kind of stuff goes,
yeah.
Hey there, OBS. It's good to see you tonight, Denise. And she says, hey guys, I got a question, Denise. Did you get something from the post office? I want to know. Did you get something from the post office? Just let me know in the comments. I want to know if you got something from the post office. Pop actor Rick is here with us. Good to see you, Pop actor. He says hello. And Gojitron is here. Good to see you, Gojitron. How's it going, Carl? Yeah, F the man, says the guy that worked today. See, OBS says I was getting a cheeseburger. Okay. I hope you weren't getting a cheeseburger while I was asking you if you got something in the mail. I'm curious.
Well,
What's Epic Badger saying?
Don't forget.
Thank you. Don't forget to like everything. Like it, share it, all that stuff. You have to share it. And you have to share it using YouTube to share it so that it feeds that algorithm.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to tell you that Radical wants to know how many Fangors you got.
The guy who was going to pass bought 3. I figured there's going to be somebody in our little community that's going to want one that didn't get one. I guess it was up for quite a while. I mean, what did we think? It was a couple hours.
A couple hours, and that for that kind of stuff, I guess that's pretty good. I mean, what
I'm used to them going in like 20 minutes, 10 minutes. I think one of them went in like freaking less than 5. And yeah, I'm sure someone, if someone's looking for a Fangor and you didn't get one, DM me on Instagram. I'm sure we can work something out.
Pop Actor Rick says we're the last generation of adults. Well, that's a whole different story, I think.
Right.
I think we were talking about that in the green room before the show. I'll leave it at that. What did Motu say here? Nice Turtles in Time.
I was asking what Genesis game he was playing. Ninja Turtles on the Genesis.
Oh yeah, that's Adam over there. Okay. I don't play video games anymore. I used to play a mean game of Doom back in the day, though.
I got Doom on my PC. I'll tell you, if you like Doom and you want to play something modern, there's a game called Phasmophobia, and it's kind of a Ghost Hunter style game. If you ever watch Ghost Adventures, it's almost a video game version of that. You kind of would probably like it because your little was it a Transalgerny lunatic asylum or wherever you went? There's a lunatic asylum map in the game, and basically what the game is you go into a haunted house and you look for clues and try to figure out what type of ghost this is and try not to have it kill you. It's creepy because I'm playing this down here in my basement. It's dark. It's late. I'm on my mouse. It's a dark room. I'm watching a thing, and all of a sudden, like if you play it with headphones on, this thing will like, man, freaking, it's a video game. You can't get killed in real life. That thing jump scares you pretty good.
Oh so yeah,
I recommend it. Grown ass man playing video games and collecting toys.
Well, most grown-ass men that I know do play video games. I'm the exception to that rule. Let's see what Jesse's up to here. I've switched to buying Galoob catalogs, store buyer guides, and news articles going back into the 80s. I'm interested in history. Play is fun. Knowledge is power. And now you know. And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. Speaking of nostalgia, Amigo got the Marvel license again. That put me in a stupid good mood, says Gojitron. Does that mean we're going to get like Spider-Man Mego figures again from Mego?
I had a Hulk when I was a kid. I freaking loved that thing.
I thought it was real interesting that Mego back in the 70s had both DC and Marvel licenses and produced figures in the same line of both. There we go. That's your titty Hulk.
Yeah, that's my titty Hulk. But I would definitely buy a Mego Hulk if I seen one.
And you could play Hulk and Spider-Man along with Superman and Batman and Planet of the Apes all at the same fucking time. It's just interesting. And OBS Says, not yet. I haven't been in my mailbox all week. I'll check tomorrow before I go to work. Okay. Just let me know. I'm curious. Just curious. No, Joneser. Hyperstone history is Genesis. Heist Stone history. Something
That was
like
a turtle game.
All right. All right. I got one Fangor 4 to 5 hours before it sold out. Also, it lasted that long? Wow. Okay.
So if anybody didn't get one, they had plenty of chance to get one. You know,
Absolutely. I kind of figured that. What I wish they would do is do the made to order stuff. It's where you go in and everybody who wants one gets one. Nobody gets left out, and do it in a 24-hour period of time. It was like they did $1.
Well, I got on right away. I was on my break. I'd seen you could order 3. I ordered 3. I figured one for me. We'll see if Lyric wants one, and I'll have an extra one just in case somebody in the community didn't get one and is dying for one. I can help someone out. And if not, I'm sure I could find something to do with it. You know,
Sure.
I mean, it's not like those, you know, it's like I just popped off my Camo Con on eBay and it's being bid on. I put no reserve. It goes for what it goes for. You know what I mean? People are asking $99, $100 for that thing on there. I didn't do that. But I mean, would I be totally sad if my toy I paid $18 for sells for $100 on eBay? I will not be totally sad. Sorry. You know, I held on to it for how long did that thing come out? Was it like almost a year now?
Absolutely. And let's see, we got OBS says, well, even when they make new cartoons, they suck. Nothing to collect. Kids don't care about anything today. Yes, they do. They care about that goddamn phone.
Roblox. Kids like Roblox and Minecraft.
What is that?
I don't know. Lyric will talk your ear off about it.
Well, okay. Let's see what OBS is saying here. I'd rather have my guy home playing vids than in the bar. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, playing video games is not snorting coke and getting drunk and
chasing tail and doing all the stupid stuff people do.
Jeremy J, sup, dudes? Hey, Jeremy J, what's up, man? Good to see you. Speaking of which, I'm surprised that we have as many as we have right now, considering that everybody's off at PowerCon, I guess. Let's see, Ted Melik said, I'm hoping the Horde Waspirator lasts until the 15th when I get paid. Okay. All right.
What is a Horde Waspirator?
I don't know, but he'll tell us. Ted says that kids are out drag racing around his office tonight. Okay. You didn't get a cold hour? Me neither.
Nah, from what I remember him, he was a one-shot character in a Filmation show that was weird, and he was supposedly He-Man's friend who I never saw before and never saw again.
We have somebody who has joined us today. Let me intro him real quick.
Oh, yay.
Hey guys, what's going on?
What's up, man?
Oh,
They finally made a monkey out of me.
they finally made a monkey out of you. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
What's going on, Johnny? What you been up to, man?
nothing much. I've been busy, just working away on the computer. So I'm sitting in the lab today to rest my aching bones.
Okay, so now we know what the Horde Waspirator is. It is a PowerCon exclusive from Valaverse for the action.
I don't know what that is either.
Yeah, I don't collect any of that.
Oh, wait, Valaverse. When he said, yeah, now I get it, because he did the Wasp. He did that bee-looking thing, which is kind of based on the old Waspinator from the Beast Wars cartoon and the Valaverse line. So that's some kind of Motu version of that. So I guess it would be like a Buzz-Off or something like that, would be my guess.
Are you hearing him sound funny there, Jones?
You're breaking up a little bit, Johnny.
Is
Yeah,
it? Ah.
it's doing that shit that it does to you. You want to try to reboot it?
I will. Like I'm on my tablet on completely different. I'm not even on my computer, so I don't know why it's
better
going on.
now.
Little bit.
Oh, there he went.
There he goes. All right. Well, he'll be back later, I'm sure. Good to see you. Screw your feelings. Glad you showed up. Johnny will be back, I'm sure. Gojatron says, truck, not monkey. And how's Rolo doing?
I was wondering that myself the other day. I ain't heard from him in a while.
All right. It's been about a week or so since I heard from Grindhead about Rolo. At the time, Rolo's been in and out of the hospital. I think he was at the hospital at the time. Let me bring Johnny back in real quick. There he is. All right. There he is.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Can you hear me now, or is it?
Yeah. Sounds a lot better.
It's Wi-Fi here, I think, because this end of the house is just very weak signal.
Yeah, I can't get Wi-Fi in my bedroom, so I can't watch YouTube while I'm going to bed and shit like that.
Yeah, I want to get some kind of booster so I can watch the bloody wrestling network on my lounge TV, because that's no signal at all down that end.
Now, back to Rolo. So Grindhead told me that Rolo's been in and out of the hospital. He had that surgery, and I think he was in the hospital, and then he's back in the hospital. But I haven't heard anything since that. But all I know is that he's doing okay. He's just recovering from whatever they did to him. So, and also, there's been a little restructuring at Resurrection Toys. So I haven't heard anything from Rolo. I haven't seen Rolo online. I haven't. He used to he DM me every once in a while here or there, but I haven't heard anything from him. I don't know what's really going on, and all I've heard is what Grindhead's told me, and that was a couple of weeks ago. So I'm hoping he's doing all right. He's been in my prayers, but I haven't heard anything from Rolo.
Right.
So.
You know, it's funny she asked that because I was just thinking it the other day. I was like, man, he ain't popped in a while. And
yeah, I don't think he's doing that well personally, but
no, I don't think he's been using his phone or computer or nothing, because he's been in hospital. So I don't think he's using anything. Because I heard nothing for ages either online.
And Pop Actor Rick wants to know, is it cold there? Yeah, I'm sure it is over there where Johnny Sorensen is. It's wintertime.
I went for a swim this morning on the beach. It's very cold. It's cold as much of the year.
Yeah, Ted, we hope he's doing okay too, man. We're all worried about him, and I don't like not hearing anything. Oh, and Wilhelm Toy and Hobby has joined us tonight as well. Hello there. What's going on, Will? And OBS wants to know, are you an Aussie? Yeah, he's an Aussie.
Yeah, I live in Perth. Like, I've lived here about 23 years, and before that 20 years I grew up in New Zealand.
Oh, you grew up in New Zealand?
Yeah.
I used to know a guy from New Zealand who lived in a place called Upper Hutt.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's continue doing what we do and do Memberberries or something and keep on bullshitting. I never plan anything. I just do shit, and that's what I'm doing tonight. Do have one thing we're going to show later on tonight. We all have shitty vocabularies. I know I do. I don't know about you, Joneser, but we're going to learn how to improve our vocabulary. Maybe it'll help us.
Yeah, we need that in Australia. We got terrible language here.
Yeah.
I use the F-bomb like it's a comma. Is that not what?
Oh, that's a universal word. It can be used as a noun, a verb, an adjective, an adverb.
Yeah. It's multi-purpose. There's a lot of uses. It can be happy. It can be sad. It can be angry.
Rick says it's only 63 LOL for us Canadians. It's a blessing. Whereabouts in Canada there, Pop Actor? I'm curious because there's a lot of Canadians in the toy community. It seems like there's Adam and
Mega J.
Retro, and
I'm in Minnesota. It's basically southern Canada. It's just on the American side.
Thanos Copter. Fuck is the new. And according to Adam, who's also in Canada, but where are you at? In Newfoundland? Is that where you're at? I can't remember. He says it's warm there. Define warm. For Canadians, warm means like in the 50s, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm in Minnesota, and yeah, we can think the same way. Yeah, well, outside in the 50s and 60s, no problem. But it's been warm here. It's been in the 80s and 90s. Humid.
It says it's been all kinds here. Hot, then cool, storms, humid, cool, hot, all in one day.
That sounds like Minnesota weather, too.
The Perth winter here is like a New Zealand summer.
Pop Actor says it's 80 in Canada. Okay. And Radical says New Brunswick, just by Nova Scotia, East Coast. Okay. Random Diorama has joined us. Hello. It was 107 today.
7. Jesus.
Where do you live? Death Valley?
Arizona.
Gee whiz. It's been very cold over here in Eternia, a bit brisk, as you might say. Okay.
Probably cooking an egg on the sidewalk in that.
Was it 107? Yeah, that's kind of miserable. It was last week before last. Well,
Dallas.
We're still in this week. So last week it was miserable at work. We got a little reprieve as a little cold front kind of moved through and a couple little rainstorms came. So yeah. And Random Diorama is in Dallas.
I saw I said that. Dallas. That's wild.
Dun,
Texas Heat.
Dun, dun, dun,
Oh, that was my grandma's favorite show, dude. She watched that endlessly.
It came on after Dukes of Hazzard. That's all I remember.
I just remember the theme music and Who Shot JR. After that, I don't know nothing.
That was fucked up. That turned out to be a damn what you call it, a
dream sequence or
whole.
You know what that was? I'll tell you what that was. It was a publicity stunt. It
was. We write the show as it goes, and we write ourselves into a corner, and we can't figure out how to get out of it.
You know what? They used it in Married with Children, I believe, because the actress Katie Siegel was pregnant, and they wrote her pregnancy into the show, and then she miscarried. And then they didn't want to continue with the pregnancy written into the show. So they had to find a way to get out of it. So they did the whole, it was a bad dream ending like they did on Dallas and found their way out.
Yeah, living G in the creator itself, that weather. Okay. And OBS says she's in Dallas, Pennsylvania. That's true. Let's see, 27 degrees in the winter. And is it just 27? I think it'll be negative 27, right? Or
I'll say we can get to the negatives over where I'm at.
The Incredible Hulk, Dukes, and Dallas meant bedtime. Dallas did mean bedtime, or I'm not watching TV anymore time. Because back then there was one TV. And the folks let you watch what they allowed you to watch. And then when it was time for them to watch their shit, they watched their shit. And by God, when Lawrence Welk came on, you ain't watching shit else. That's what my grandma was going to watch, some champagne music. And
Hee-haw. That's what I saw. I saw Hee-haw.
My daddy used to watch Hee-haw. The same old tired jokes every time in the kitchen.
Hee-haw is great. Watch it back. It aged well.
My grandma and I would watch the Dukes and Starsky and Hutch. She liked the blondes. I liked the dark hair. Okay. What's Ted say here? Southeast Texas, we get a little relief from the heat being close to the coast, but the humidity is what gets you.
He's right about that.
I can remember Johnny Carson doing the humidity joke on the Tonight Show. I guess it was rather hot there in Los Angeles, and I don't know what the weather's really like in Los Angeles because I've never been there. Maybe you have, Jones. Or
Oh yeah,
is it humid hot or is it dry?
Hot? It's a dry heat, but it can be miserable in the summer, especially.
Now,
like
Johnny goes, yeah, it's been such and such degrees outside. Everybody's miserable. He said, but somebody said, it's not the heat, it's the humidity. He said, I can imagine all of us going to hell and then somebody saying, it's not the heat, it's the humidity.
It's the pitchforks.
Yeah, you're getting pitchforked in the ass. It's not the pitchfork, it's the pointy end.
It's the pointy
The Hulk is the saddest of them all. That damn music that they played at the end.
As he hitchhikes and no one picks him up.
Man. OBS loved Hee Haw. Hee Haw got canceled on CBS during the Great Purge, but it lived on in syndication.
I watched it back on the Roku channel, and these freaking scantily clad women and Daisy Dukes and these bad friggin' jokes and country music, and my wife comes walking by and she sees it. She goes, "What the hell are you watching?" My grandparents watched this.
What was it? The one I liked was when they were all laying around on the porch and they're singing the song, "Gloom, despair, and agony on me. Oh, deep dark depression, excessive misery. Oh, if it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Oh, gloom, despair, and agony on me." And OBS liked Hee Haw. Okay. Let's see what Ted liked. I never had a shirt on as a kid because I was always
right. Either Hulk or Hulk Hogan. I remember trying to rip mine and be Hulk Hogan.
See, the thing is, you didn't have pre-rips in your shirt like he did.
Yeah, well, I about pulled my fingers out of the socket trying.
Pop Actor says he watched the Hulk religiously as a kid, but it scared the crap out of him. Okay. Let's see. Adam says, remember that show Bizarre? I think it had Super Dave skits in it.
Super Dave was the man.
Dave
like evil, but is like friggin' would always end terrible.
Yeah. Had a documentary last year, so it was worth a watch.
Hey. And OBS didn't like McGee, the reporter that was always chasing him down.
That was the whole plot of the show, though. Mr. McGee, don't make.
Did they ever do a Mr. McGee in the comic books?
I don't think so. See, the thing is when the show was pitched, the guy had wrote a different show, and he wanted to do this man of mystery, type show where this guy was trying to hunt down instead they come up and they say, "Hey, we got all the Marvel Comics properties. Which one do you want to do?" And the guy's, "I don't want to do any of them." And then he's like, "Well, we're doing Marvel Comics. So which one are you doing?" So he wrote his man of mystery guy on the run show into the Hulk. Is really what it was. What was it? Kenneth Johnson, or I can't remember the guy's name. Okay. But anyway, that's why they had that investigative reporter angle to it, and the whole man of mystery thing is because he wrote a different show and then wrote the whole.
Shall we Memberberry why they called him David Banner instead of Bruce on the show?
They thought Bruce might have been a little Bruce.
Yeah, it's Bruce.
They later changed the actual.
Let's call him David.
Well, that's the stupidest explanation I've ever heard. Like, I mean,
the funny thing is later on, the comic character, it's David Bruce Banner is his full name.
Right. But it's just, I think
that was a retcon.
The reason a lot of that was, like, I think Stan Lee said he wrote like Reed Richards, Peter Parker,
alliteration,
Sue Storm, like, because he couldn't remember the freaking names. He was writing so many different characters.
Yeah, so many.
He used this formula so he could remember the names. You can even see in some of the early issues of Spider-Man or Fantastic Four, he got some of the names wrong. Like Mary Jane's niece was like Anna Watson, and it was Anna Watkins, and like they messed it up.
Oh, wait a minute. The Pope is here.
And it got fantastic.
The Pope is here. Oh my God, the Pope is here. It's the Pope. It's getting weirdly fantastic up here with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, sir.
Do we have to do the full body prostration for that one?
In a while, man. What's going on, Pope? I like the Pope because the Pope is dope. Damn. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And back to what I was saying here, OBS says that's my theme song. I guess you're talking about gloom, despair, and agony on me.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see. Pop Actor says, I hated the Golden Girls. You hated Golden Girls?
Oh, that crazy Blanche. She was funny.
There it goes, right there. You see it right there. That super chat just showed up over here on the overlay. I caught it before it came because it popped up in this. That's good. I like that. Let's see, old people stuff. Hey, I liked All in the Family too, man. Come on.
Hey, get out of my chair there, meathead.
King Bat.
Archie, he's just tired. Let him sit down.
The phone rings. Archie's not in the room. Edith answers the phone. Oh, he's busy right now, but you'll have to call back later. And you hear the commode flush.
You never get away with that show now, though. There are too many.
Here we go. Where are you tonight? Why did you leave me here all alone? I searched the world over and thought I found true love. You met another and you were gone.
Stay tuned for Bill's solo album.
I can't sing worth a crap, but it's Memberberry night, folks. Keep them coming.
I'd buy that for $1. Bill's singing show tune hits.
If you super chat me, I will sing. Okay, I'll sing. I'll sing whatever you tell me to try to sing. I'll try to sing it. All right.
I love
Benny Hill.
Hill show. Benny Hill.
Thinking I would see boobs and never did once, but you always saw them pretty girls, and you always saw Benny Hill doing something kind of underhanded.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite one is they were Robin Hood. Have you seen the Robin Hood skit on Benny Hill?
I don't think I have, but I want to say you've explained it to me before.
All right, so Benny Hill's Robin Hood, right? And he's running from the evil sheriff of Nottingham who's chasing him and trying to look for him. And he's looking all over for a place to hide. And so Friar Tuck is standing there, and he lifts his robe up. Benny Hill gets underneath the robe, and the robe comes back down. And the sheriff comes running up, and he's looking all around and of course the Friar Tuck is sitting there going, oh. Like, what the fuck is Benny doing under that robe to make all those faces?
Mm-hmm.
Finally, the sheriff leaves, and the robe comes back up, and Benny Hill's under there lighting a cigarette.
Yeah, it don't take a lot of imagination to figure out what was going on there. Oh yeah, Wonder Woman, Linda Carter. Damn right.
If there's one person in this earth that it does not age, it's that beautiful lady.
Oh yeah.
I gotta get that box set of them.
She could still play Wonder Woman to this very day. Why the fuck didn't they even get her to play Queen Hippolyta?
You know what? I don't know.
Should have had a Wonder Woman Golden Girls crossover.
I'll tell you what, I was watching me some Wonder Woman back in high school, and they were replaying them. I can't remember what channel it was. And I'm watching them, and some friend from school come over, and he's like, man, it's corny. Like, why do you watch this? And I'm like,
I'm not watching it for that. I'm watching it
really, bro? You can't figure out why a teenage boy would watch this show. You have no idea.
Of course, I've got all of them on video. I'm not video, but DVDs in there. I got the 3 DVD sets that came out here a while back, years ago. And it's funny to watch because the special effects in that were a lot to be desired. Let's just say. Well, there was one of them where a space alien got them on the spaceship and they went to this planet, and all of the scenes of that came straight from what was that movie? That old movie, Metal with the people Metaluna. They made the what was it? Had I can't remember that. What is it? Fantastic Planet, some shit. I lifted
Forbidden
straight
Planet?
out of it. And then, yeah. Johnny, did you say what movie it was?
I said Forbidden Planet.
Forbidden Planet. That was it. It was all from Forbidden
Leslie Nielsen.
Planet. And then the other one was there was a truck, right? It was like a Ford pickup truck, new Ford pickup truck. Was crashing down the hill, and of course, you know, back in the day, whenever a car would crash, of course, it had to explode. But this new truck became like Fred Sanford's truck before it went over the side of the cliff and exploded. And they did that a lot back in the 70s, like we wouldn't notice. And as kids, I don't think we did.
You know what? We used to watch some stuff where the special effects were all fake, and you know we didn't care. Like I used to love them ones where they had like the claymation dinosaurs and the cavemen, and you could see them like ears and the yeah, Land of the Lost was a great show, and it was terrible all at the same time.
Flea Stacks. Flea Stacks. Oh, you remember the
special effects.
You know, they made some Land of the Lost figures, but they weren't from the old TV show. They were from that new one that they tried to make. That
I didn't like that one. About. Yeah. But yeah, the Flea Stacks scared me when I was a kid. Like, and it's funny because I watched it back as an adult, and I was like, why did this scare me? And I think the best I could come up with for why is the Flea Stacks themselves weren't really that creepy looking. In fact, anything, they were kind of corny, but it was the way that the actors reacted to them. They were terrified. I mean, they're, Will and Holly, and they would run from them in fear. And I bought into that.
Screw Your Feelings said they turned McGee into a black woman and she got radiation secondhand by hanging with Hulk and the family.
Of course they did.
Radiation power.
Right.
And Pop Actor said David's name was changed because Ken Johnson was called David. Johnson wanted to stay away from the comics.
He did. He actually wanted to turn the Hulk red. He was telling Stan Lee red was the color of anger and that he shouldn't be green. He should be red. You know, and
they did a Red Hulk eventually, though, didn't they?
They did, and they probably get
General Ross. I got a cool figure of him, Red Hulk. It's cool.
David's name was changed because Ken Johnson called David. I don't want to say what in comics. Yeah. Woohoo! Thanks, Pope. Let's see. Great American Hero, cheesy show, but kind of funny. How's all my friends doing? We are doing better than we deserve. Speaking of toy stuff, I've been playing around here in the old toy room, and I thought I would share with you guys. Of course, everyone saw this last week, but I kind of did a little more with it today. I put the dinosaur that belongs in there, so it's now the right size back there in the back. I redid the whole set again so that I could put black backdrops behind it. You can see the bat wing up there at the top of the bat cave above the Joker card. We have the new Batmobile is now in the Batmobile slot, and just messing around here in the old toy room, just enjoying having a new display up instead of the old Castle Grayskull set, which is probably going to come back up here eventually. So thought I'd share that real quick.
Kelly peeking at us.
And moving on down, OBS is like, no, you can't hate the Golden Girls.
Thank you for being a friend.
And All in the Family was really good. Actually, it was. I mean, it was a groundbreaking show for the time. And
Those
Mr.
were the days.
Yeah. Oh, and when Miller played, oh, they on the South playing green. B. Pullman, that Mr. Benny says, "Hey, everybody." See, pop actor Rick says, "I changed, Bill. I was a kid back then. Married with Children. Simpsons was more cooler back in the 80s.
I'm a big fan
Yeah,
of
with the
it.
children.
Yeah, I watched every episode.
Pope says, "I do remember watching a lot of Golden Girls and my grand had it on. I bet." And Pope want to say, "What's up, OBS? Long time no see." And OBS is saying, "Same old, trying to survive." That's all we're doing is surviving right now. What did speaking of surviving, did either of you guys ever watch Billy Jack?
I'm gonna kick this side of your face with this side of my foot.
And ain't nothing you can do about it. Yeah, that Billy Jack.
Yeah.
What did
Yeah.
Billy Jack tell him? He said, "When those who enforce the law break the law, there is no law. Just a fight for survival." Off topic, but have any of y'all seen those whistleblower interviews on YouTube? Crazy stuff. Is that the stuff where they're admitting that UFOs are real and the space aliens have come?
You know, I love this kind of stuff. You know, the Bigfoot and Loch Ness monster and ghosts and space aliens and government conspiracies and lizard people and that we didn't really land on. That we didn't really land on the moon and the earth is flat, and I eat all this stuff up. Now, I'm not saying I believe in half of it, but I just love watching other people talk about it. That makes any sense.
Pyramids are built by space aliens. Yeah.
The aliens bring us matter replicators like Star Trek. Come on.
Well, I'll go ahead and shout out one of my favorite new channels, and that's the Y-Files with AJ and Hecklefish. Watch it. And I like how AJ will try to get to the meat of the matter at the very end after he sits there and plays the whole thing up for the whole show.
I've seen it. I don't know if I saw this on Facebook or TikTok or one of these freaking things where they have a meme, but it was a great idea. And it's a premise for a reality show. It'll be The Amazing Race, only you get a bunch of flat earthers and send them out, and they have to get to the edge of the earth.
Earth is flat, isn't it?
What?
Earth is flat, right?
Yeah, it's flattest place on the globe.
It's flat. It's on the back of a turtle that's going through space, being held up by 4 elephants, if I'm not mistaken, right? No, that's Discworld. Never mind. Speaking of Wonder Woman, Hubba Hubba Woof Woof finally came in. Let's see what OBS is saying here. Ed, yep, I yell all the time on political chats. I come here to get away from it. Yeah, we don't get political over here. No. We try not to anyway. Pope rolling over there. Hey. Daisy Duke aced a lot. I was shocked. Well, yeah, Catherine Bach. I've never met her in person, but I know somebody who did. And he said from a distance, she still looks good. But when you get up close to her, she's like got crags all in her face. And she filled it in with makeup and then like scraped it so it looked smooth, but you could tell it was there because it was cracking. But not Linda Carter. Linda Carter still looks the same way she did back in the day now. And she's got to be, pushing 80? Apparently Joneser doesn't agree with me. Okay.
She does look great for her age, but the same? No. None of us do.
I do. I look just like I always did.
Man, I should show you a picture of old school Jones or you lose your shit.
I've seen a picture of old school Jones.
How old? The one when I was with Mr. T?
That or the one where you were behind a drum set.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you have seen it then.
I wanted a Spider-Man TV series crossover with Incredible. It almost was.
They had one with Thor and then one with Daredevil.
Yeah, those sucked assholes.
They were good for what they were.
Sure they were.
I wish they'd crossed over the Japanese Spider-Man TV show.
Yeah.
The American one. That would have been cool.
Now, look, the Japanese Spider-Man
great
TV
effects.
show is so awful that it's good. I mean, think about it.
Like,
Man. Not only did Spider-Man get his powers from space aliens, speaking of space aliens, but he drove a race car, right? And he also had a giant mecha robot, right?
Yeah, part of
Leopardon. Is that what it was called? The Leopardon?
yeah.
Ted says the Sean Ryan show where he interviewed 3 different people who say they saw some stuff, but it was aliens, but stuff we have, not aliens. It's always a weather balloon, right? Isn't that what it always is?
Gas or mass hallucination or
like a bland man at an orgy. I was going to have to feel things out. Johnny, you need to say this stuff on the air, man.
I can't do a good Leslie Nielsen voice. He's like a blind man at an orgy. I was going to have to feel things out. It's a naked gun.
You ever watch the Files of Police Squad? I think they made the out of those. One that got me as a kid, they had that big guy where you never see his face. You just
he's always off the screen.
He's like eating a banana, and they're like, "Hey, you got something on the side of your face." He like wipes it, like half a banana hits the desk. Great.
I like the old cheesy sci-fi's Godzilla movie. I love Godzilla movies. And all those crazy kung fu movies with Bruce Lee in them.
Dude, me and my son were watching the Chinese
fake ones.
Connection or whichever one.
Okay. So let me see. Get you to do this, John. We're doing kung fu movies right now for just a second. Describe the plot of every Bruce Lee kung fu movie.
Oh, it's simple. Bruce Lee is a man of peace. Bruce Lee will not invoke violence upon those who are invoking violence until there is one scene in the movie where someone will get him, and you'll get the and then it's on.
A little bit of blood right there on his cheek when that happened.
Yeah, he'll.
What was the one where he was in some kind of a crazy ass tower or castle and he had to go up?
Oh yeah. That was the final one where they had to like face swap him to finish the movie.
He died before that movie.
Bar up there, and they did the whole bit where they made Kareem look like he was like even taller than he actually was, even though he was huge.
I remember the footprint on his chest from the kick from. It was like the foot was half his body.
Oh man, I love stop action stuff, says Pope. And you ever seen Kung Pao? Yeah.
I liked when the guys with the squeaky shoes in that would walk, and then the chick in it, and she'd be talking to him. Oh, yeah, wee. It was such a stupid movie, but it was so funny.
Hey, Bill, I got an email saying Patreon didn't remute. It's a mistake, buddy, but I'll get it on. I'm going to tell you what. It already started, John. We talked about it last week. And of course, right now I'm down to like one bar on my internet here for some odd reason. But anyway, here's the thing that happened with Patreon. Patreon moved all of their banking to Ireland and didn't tell nobody. So if you're Patreon and you're sending me Patreons, your donation or whatever to me could be flagged as suspicious because now it's going to Ireland.
I'm not having any trouble there. Mine are going straight to my PayPal.
I let mine build up and then I get it all at once at the end of the year. So, but here's the thing. What I'm thinking about doing is moving all that to Subscribestar. I know I'll have to start all over again, and everybody's already subscribed to me. Some of them will move, and some of them won't. Blah blah blah. I get it, and that's why I'm going to do this over a period of time. I've got to make the Subscribestar first and get everything all set up, and then I'll start really going into it with you guys, telling you, yeah, if you're subscribed to me on Patreon, we're going to Subscribestar. Patreon shit, I'm getting rid of it. Johnny can tell you Patreon is shit. Everybody I know of who's dealt with Patreon is like, fuck Patreon.
Bullshit. It's AAA grade bullshit Patreon.
Yeah, so don't worry about it.
I guess I'm lucky as I ain't had any of these problems. They deduct the monies that I send to the other creators that I'm subscribed to, and then they have the monies that goes to me, and everything's just fine.
Those shows that Pope remembers are MASH reruns and Married with Children. He's a little younger than we are, but yeah. Thanos Copter is saying Married with Children still holds up. It does.
It does. I can watch that anytime. We got the box there. That one's great.
Yeah, I got that same box set.
OBS says she's saying, she's saying
the song on the DVDs.
Yeah, she sang the All in the Family theme song with karaoke with her boss, and he was dying laughing as she did the Edith voice.
I heard a skit on the radio where they had Archie and Edith, and Archie was performing, shall we say, cunnilingus on Edith, and they prayed it out on the radio. Her go crazy. And it was freaking great.
Could you hear the lapping? Could you hear the lapping sounds?
Oh my God! I had to pull my car over. I was laughing so hard I thought I was gonna wreck on the freeway.
My God, I haven't heard that. Oh, God.
It's gold. It's every bit as good as you're imagining it, and better.
OBS says the Y-Files, Hecklefish, listen, people. What did you say there, Johnny? The devil stole my pants. Now I'm pants.
Jersey Devil. That one was
Jersey Devil. Yeah, he's another one of them cryptozoids or whatever.
Like the Mothman and all that shit.
Yeah.
They're putting stuff in the water that turns frogs gay. That could actually be true.
Turn the frogs gay.
How did Jersey Devil get down on here? Gojitron, Bigfoot, Nessie, UFOs. Here's a In Search of with Leonard.
Oh, dude, that was a great show. You guys remember Sightings with Tim White?
Random Diorama just subscribed. Thank you for subscribing, Random Diorama. We appreciate you becoming a new subscriber to the channel. We need all the subscribers we can get. If you want to see fireworks with your name in it, subscribe today. If you're already subscribed, don't hit it again. Yeah. If you do, hit it again after that.
Yeah. But do you guys remember that? Do you remember Sightings with Tim White? It was kind of like an Unsolved Mysteries show.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
But instead, it was all focused on aliens and UFOs and, you know.
I'm going to have to look at that. I'm sure they're around somewhere if you know where to look.
I couldn't find them on YouTube. I found the opening sequence of the show, but I couldn't find any episodes or anything like that.
Rick says he doesn't believe that Bigfoot exists, not with today's technology tracking the species in the wild. Well, don't tell that to the squatchers who go out squatching.
Yeah, it's awful squatchy out here. You hear that knocking? Squatch.
Yeah, the sounds that they make, those little howling sounds.
Yeah.
Linda Carter is 72. She had a cameo in that bad Wonder Woman 1984 movie. Yes, she did.
I didn't watch that. I was told I'm not missing anything.
You missed nothing.
I heard.
Who's the second guest with the accent? That would be the unmasked maniac, Mr. Johnny Sorensen, who joins us from time to time on here and also does he's also the man behind the spotlights now. Largo has moved on to bigger and better.
I just turned the power switch on for the spotlight.
Say that again, Johnny. You broke up, bud.
I just turned the power switch on for the spotlight and it goes on.
He does the PowerPoint spotlights, but he also helps out with them. So, but yeah, Largo started his own channel, and that went off like hotcakes. And I knew he was going to do that when it happened. And he spent all of his time over there, and he couldn't be over here. So, me and Jones are doing things now, and Johnny comes in to help. And with Smoking Man keeps it secret. That would be from X-Files. I'm kind of trying to catch up with the chat, but the chat's going faster than I can go through it. That's Johnny from Down Under. Let's see. Pop Actor says, it's rare that you see a trilogy in comedy films like The Naked Gun. Every film is funny as the previous ones. Pretty good. Mr. Wonderful with us tonight. Hello there. He's at PowerCon just saying what's up and smashing the like. All right, cool, man. I hope you make tons of money at PowerCon selling those Hexastack display systems. If you're at PowerCon, go check him out. I think tomorrow is probably the last day, so everything will be wrapping up tomorrow. I hope you guys had a great time. I'm sure that after a long day of PowerCon and everybody's at the bar right now, kind of winding down. As one would
whoa, like that, bam, bam, whoa, like that, bam, bam.
They called me Bruce was awful. Wee-oo.
Wee, 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 wee.
They did a 70s kung fu movie called The Man from Hong Kong. Tell us about that, Johnny.
I don't know a whole lot about it. It's fairly generic, but it was part of a wave of like Ozploitation cinema in the 70s, where they like skin flicks, they did kung fu stuff, action movies, and just shit like that.
Yeah, Pope. Yeah, I know it doesn't make any sense, but yeah, I guess they think that because that you're making a donation into an Irish bank that you're supporting terrorism. I said a wordy dirt. Spicy things that happen that go boom boom in Ireland. Kung Fu Hustle.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's like the Looney Tunes, but Kung Fu.
Mike Fee is here. What's up, Mr. Mike Fee? Good to see you here. Revenge of the Ninja 2. I can't get more martial art 80s than that. No, there were 3 of those ninja movies. The first one was called Enter the Ninja. Right? What was the second one called, Joneser?
I couldn't tell you.
Revenge of the Ninja. It was Revenge. Yeah, here it was. Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja, and the third one was Ninja 3: The Domination.
You guys remember a flick called Maniac Cop?
Mm-hmm.
It was like some weird.
Isn't Bruce Campbell in that?
Yeah, that's weird 80s or 90s violent movie, kind of a Toxic Avenger-esque.
Yeah.
You know.
There's another one, Sergeant Kabuki Man. That was a trauma one.
There we go. Those weird-ass movies that they don't make them like that no more. Or maybe they do, I just don't like them like I do.
Yeah, Troma's still going. They're still new films. Like, if you look them up, the YouTube channel's back. They got banned off YouTube for fuck knows what reason, but they're back on there again.
I used to love me a good bad movie when I was a kid. Now as an adult, I have no tolerance for it anymore, except for the movies I enjoyed when I was a kid. That was bad. I can't. Like my kids wanted me to watch The Meg and like they're modern day bad movies that my kids like, and I'm just like, I used to love these when I was young, but how come I can't watch it now?
Well, the bad movies that we watched when we were kids were so bad they were good. The bad movies that we got now are just bad. So bad.
It could be good, but it's not.
It's the difference between heel heat and go away heat.
Right.
Heel heat, you hate the heel, but you want to see him get his, so you continue to watch. And go away heat is you hate the heel so much that you refuse to watch the fucking show altogether.
Like I used to like go watch the Sci-Fi Channel, and they'd have like Giant Crocodile 10 or
Sharknado.
Yeah, like some mosquito.
Oh, those asylum ones are garbage. They're just
yeah, all the movies are terrible, but you weren't watching them because.
Well, I could watch Newcomb High 1 or 2 any day of the week. That's got great production value. It's entertaining as hell.
Trying to catch up here on the chat while you guys are chatting here. Stifle at OBS. MASH is a classic. Married with Children was fun. Let's see. Kermit is gay. I knew it. What?
That can't be.
No.
Was it Fozzie?
It's true. It's true.
Fozzie,
it's the chems that they put in the water that make the frogs turn female.
I saw the greatest idea. Again, I think it might have been on TikTok or something. But okay, Disney. Follow me on this. Disney owns Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
They also own the Muppets, right?
Right.
How come we don't have like Star Wars Muppets? Like,
didn't they do that?
Well, they did Pigs in Space. That
was Star Trek. That was Star Trek.
But follow me.
They did Muppets in Space movie a long time ago.
Star Wars shit and Pigs in Space, though, right?
This guy had it all figured out. He's like, dude, we'll have Gonzo be Luke Skywalker. When he buys R2-D2 and C-3PO from the Jawas, they'll all be chickens. C-3PO and R2-D2 will be Beaker and Mr. Honeydew. Of course, Chewbacca. Chewbacca's Fozzie, Kermit's Han Solo, Piggy's Leia. I'm like, this is gold.
Oh, look,
they already did my Star Trek in the 80s on Muppet Babies, and they used actual footage from the films and Marvel Productions that he's from Lucas.
That's right. They did do that.
And they used actual footage, but then I don't know if it's on the DVDs anymore, though, if they were able to release it again.
Dude, I forgot about that. As soon as you said that, it like unlocked it in my brain. Like, that's insane. That's right.
I will quote a person that I do watch. Thank you very much. Those of you who don't like him, I kind of do. The Junk Man does not like the Muppet Babies. Do you know why, Joneser? He hates the Muppet Babies.
No.
Doesn't like creativity.
No, it ain't that. It's the fact that they're all wearing diapers, and he just can't get over the fact that
babies.
They shit in the diaper. That Miss Piggy is shitting in her diaper.
Smells like pork.
Oh.
So's Kermit's finger.
Yikes. Well, if he's drinking that water, he's not maybe. Watch Colorado Bigfoot. I've seen some really weird tree structures on his videos, things that would take crews of men and major machinery to bend those trees to make those exits. What's the next spotlight?
Good question.
Dick Tracy.
The comic one, though.
The comic strip.
Yes.
The real one.
I thought Bigfoot would be like watching Harry and the Hendersons.
Harry and the Hendersons, that's a fake Bigfoot from the 70s where he walks and goes, that's Harry. That's Harry.
Let's see. Oh, man. I hope Largo's doing it. Largo's doing great. You got to go check his channel out there, folks. You really do, because him and Will are over there. They are. They are. And their production values make me look like a little kid over here. Largo learned Canva. He took the Canva. I don't know, like a pig to slop. He just took the Canva. He just
duck to water.
Just knows how to fish in water. Yeah, I mean, he just knows how to use Canva. I can't make heads or tails of Canva. Fuck Canva. I'm just gonna keep on doing what I do.
That's pretty easy.
Production value. You watch his show though. His production value is top drawer.
Man, he knows what he's doing with that Canva shit. I mean, and of course, I could probably do that too if I took the time to it. But
It is a very easy program to use, but he already had pre-existing skills from other stuff, so now he's
Yeah,
just in the program.
he's got a little bit of business knowledge. One, two, he used to have to do all kinds of presentations and shit at the job that he used to have when he lived here in America, and all those skill sets he just brings over into his show. Me, I have no skills. I just sit here and just bullshit like I always do. But it's fun. Apparently, people like it. Okay, now how about this one? Nothing but trouble. Totally awesome cast. Totally ridiculous movie.
Is that the one with Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd as the weird judge? And is that what that was?
I don't know. Maybe Pope will answer. Pope Largo is doing good. He has power and everything after last month's hullabaloo's. That's great. Yeah, he lives in Guatemala, so it's kind of interesting.
Hey, he's
what goes
here.
on there around.
Yeah.
Is it? Is he? I'm so far behind.
I put it up.
Oh, there he is. Wow, my ears burning. We've been talking about you, but we've been talking good stuff. Hey, gang. Good to see you, Largo. Good to see you, my man. Largo Mania is running wild. I'm just going to go ahead and go to the end of the chat here because I'll have to reread all this on the rewatch or something.
No,
y'all got so far. I got buried, man. Yeah, for real.
18 on 1, dude. You had no chance.
Absolutely.
All right. I read it all.
Largo, I am going to send you the invite to come in here because I would love to have you come on the show and tell me what's up in Largo land and catch all the people up who don't get to watch your show but do watch mine. So let me see if I can do that.
You gotta check Largo's stuff out, dude. I really love what
he's doing. Absolutely, you need to check
production
out
value is top drawer. I mean, it's completely, pro level.
All right, Jim. I sent you the link on the Instagram. If you want to show up, no pressure, but love to have you on the show. I like Salt in the House. Hey, man, the artistry of BS. That's me altogether. And the chats are blowing up. I love it when the chat blows up. Yeah, there he is. Let's see. Mike Fee, was that PowerCon today? Yeah, PowerCon was this weekend. So give me a minute to fire it up, he says. So we're gonna get fire up the back computer. All right, man. It'd be great to see Largo for a change on here. We haven't seen Largo on this channel in a while.
It's been a hot minute.
Any Nerf fights break out at the PowerCon? Ted Darklaw, Largo. Mike Fee, yes, Rick, I was at PowerCon. I guess you're not anymore. Not going to go to closing ceremonies on Sunday. That movie made me hate bankers.
He confirmed it was the one I thought it was with Chevy Chase and Demi Moore. Dan Aykroyd was the judge. I think John Candy played himself and his sister in the movie. It was a weird movie.
Speaking of Nerf gun fights, Ted Darklaw says they fired a warning shot today. Stay tuned. Tomorrow is the day. Somebody needs to film that. Mike, you should go live and talk about it. There. What did you say there, Johnny? Capacitors to speed, vacuum tubes to heat. No fights. Oh, yeah, top-notch cast. And who had a penis nose? That was some movie you guys were talking about, right? Dan Aykroyd had a penis nose.
Yeah, I think it's that one. I don't know if it was a penis nose, but he looked weird in it. It was a weird movie.
Okay. I'll have to check this stuff out. I'm going to have to rewatch my show.
Roxanne and Steve Martin, I think you're talking about.
pay attention to what's going on in the chat. Uncle Buck. Now that was a movie.
My kids and I watched that maybe a year ago or so. That's a fun one. Another one we
So
like at
good.
the house, The Great Outdoors is one that I
Yeah,
probably watch maybe once a year.
And Ted Darklaw says, if you were out at PowerCon and didn't hit the Helidope booth at 318, we were disappointed with you.
Oh,
Nothing but trouble with a penis nose. Same movie. Yes, it was a dick nose.
I'll have to watch it back. It's
talking
been
about-
a long time since I've seen that.
I have a nose penis. Is that a thing?
I guess
I didn't
it
know
is.
you had a dick nose. Did not know you had a dick nose, man. I've watched your channel. I didn't get that. The Great Outdoors is still a great movie.
Nope, there he
Oh.
is.
There he is. Let's fix it up where he can be
yeah,
in
it's
here.
gigantic, there, Castle. I'll jump out so you guys can talk.
And here's the man of the hour, Largo himself. What's
How goes
going
it?
on, Largo?
I've
Hey,
been
goes,
busier
man.
than
Goes. Johnny said he's going to take off because you're here. So it's only three of us in here. But tell us what's been going on in Largo land, man.
oh boy, tons of stuff. Not all good. As you guys know, I've been having all kinds of doom, despair, and agony, just like on Hee Haw. The power situation's gotten better. My father-in-law passed away not too long ago, and then it's had to deal with all the in-laws and outlaws coming through for the funeral and dealing with all that stuff, and just trying to get back into the swing of production. As you well know, when you get, off your groove, it's kind of hard to get back in the saddle, so to speak, but working on it. How you guys been doing?
Pretty
Doing
good
great.
here. Yeah, we're just doing what we always do. Tonight is babbling with Memberberries. So we've been babbling about Memberberries.
Cool.
But what I do want to do is tell everybody when Largo, he said, don't call it a comeback. He took a break and then he came back. And that show, if you haven't watched it, and that goes for you too, Joneser, you go watch that show because that show hit me everywhere. And I'm sure it will you too. And it's a show about men's health, basically, mental health. And Largo, you did us all. You did me a big favor with that show. I'm tell you what, man, and I appreciate that.
I'm gonna have to watch
Well,
that.
I'm glad you appreciated it.
That was.
I mean, it was just, that's where I was living.
I'm wondering.
It just felt like the thing to do.
Yeah, well, as work tries to destroy me mentally and physically, I go back and rewatch that show. You did a good thing, man, and that's really a good thing. Appreciate that.
Well, thank you. Oh, you're certainly welcome. Like I was saying, I was going through the ringer there, and I figure, like most of us who are in this community, we all deal with these things. We just don't always have someone to talk to about it. So I just put together, things I thought were helpful, things I've tried that worked and seemed to help. And that just kind of, that's where it came from.
And Ted Darklaw, Ted Darklaw says, I hate to leave. Long day tomorrow. Got to catch y'all. Glad I got to catch y'all live. Always love seeing Largo here. And Pope says, never give up. Never
give up.
surrender.
Never surrender.
Thanks for that super chat, man. I appreciate it, man. But yeah,
Good stuff.
And you guys are still working on the lore of the Action Force. Tell us about that.
Yes, sir. We have a show called the AF3, which is a forceful fellowship, and also the name of one of my favorite Palatoy Action Force vehicles. So we just did Duster from season 2, and we're getting ready to do Rollout and Kill Switch, which are a couple of the newer members that came out in series 2 and 3. Desert Rat is on the horizon. I'm going to be working with the OG himself. Hopefully, when Tony gets a chance, we're going to record a session. We'll talk about his introduction into the Action Force and how his fictional character differs from the real deal. So a lot of things in the pipeline we're working on. Got Goji coming soon. Going to have some good stuff with Gojitron.
So, had Gojitron here on the show recently.
Oh yeah, he's a hoot, man. I love working with him. We went through a bunch of horror movies, and we're doing something similar coming up soon. We're going to be going through some 60s films that you might enjoy.
I can't wait, man. And you know, I try to catch as much of your show as I possibly can. Sometimes I have to rewatch it. You know, when you guys go live, I have to rewatch it later because of my sleeping schedule here. But yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great that your channel's going on. And I was telling everybody that you took the Canva like a fish to water. That camera just comes easy to you, and your production values are just way up there. Tell us a little bit about how hard it was to get to the point where you got to so quickly.
It was a challenge. I did some PowerPoint presentation type work in my last lifetime when I was doing meetings and having to do a lot of public speaking in my position as a manager. So I knew how to put a presentation together, but I'd never used any of this new software. And I looked at some of the video editing software that's out there, and you just about need a college degree to figure out some of that stuff. And I stumbled across Canva, and it's a lot of it's just click and cut and paste, and it felt really organic. So that's kind of worked for me. I need to move beyond it because it does have some limitations to it if I want to get into real video editing, but I got to take the time to learn some of that more sophisticated software.
Mm-hmm. Well, what you're doing right now, I think, is excellent.
Well, thank you. Like I say to Will, it's like what we don't have in talent, we make up for in Flash. We do Flash pretty well.
Pope says, "Am I out of the loop? Did our boy Largo go viral?" Well, I don't know if he went viral or not, but he's working on it. But the things that Largo's doing over there are a little different, and different in a good way, let me say. For instance, when he has someone on his show, say Aaron from over there at Hello Dope Toys, they didn't talk about toys. They talked about the Infinite playlist. Tell us about that.
That was a good one. I watched that.
Well, thank you. Joneser, that was actually Aaron's baby. He didn't know it at the time, but I invited him on just to hang out in the lounge, and he wanted to talk music. Everybody liked that episode so much, we just created another show just about hanging out and talking about music. So we've had a lot of guests on there. Everybody's enjoying that. So it's been fun. Matter of fact, Goji. Yes. Goji he built last presentation that we're going to do together on his own. It's all him in Canva. So he's doing good with that. So we'll have that on the show sometime this month. I'm not exactly sure when that's scheduled. I still need to set up a time to record with him. But I was really surprised at the Infinite playlist. I just figured, a couple of regular subscribers, people we normally hang out with might want to come on, and instead of talking toys, talk tunes. And soon enough, I had Ryan from 3POA. I had Michael from Retro Blasting. These guys were coming to me instead of me going to them. I'm like, wow, sure, come on in, man. It's cool. So it's been weird and fun, but not weird and fantastic. That's you.
What I enjoyed about that was just hearing the different bands, ones that I knew and the ones that I didn't know. So I mean, it's cool to hear, people like the same thing you like, but then it's cool to hear something like, okay, this guy likes the same thing I like, and he knows something else that I don't know. If he likes all this other stuff I like, I bet I might like, the other thing that I didn't know. So I always like it when someone can show me something new, especially for music, because I feel like all the good music is 100 years ago, and that they don't make any good music anymore. So finding new good music is like gold to me.
Same here. I'm kind of stuck in the 80s kind of tunes, but having other people's opinions and bringing new bands to my attention I'd never heard of, or making me do a kind of a deep dive into a band I kind of knew but didn't. It's been a lot of fun and educational. So
one of my favorite parts of that show was when you guys were talking about the deep cuts or the B-sides, and I think that's a lot of like, when you get into a band's catalog, I think Wilhelm might have been the one that said that, or maybe it was you, I can't remember, but I just remember I really grabbed that, because that's when you can tell when someone's a fan of something, when they know the one that wasn't on the radio, the deep cut, the B-side, the other song, the one everybody knows.
Back in our day, you had to actually go to the record store and pick up an LP or a 45, or, later on cassettes and compact discs. Now everybody's digitally downloading. They don't get that album experience like we did.
No, I was a cassette era. And when I was a teenager, the big one that I remember was Guns N' Roses came out, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. And me and my sister sat outside Tower Records in line and waited to get this thing, because that's what people did.
Oh, yeah.
That experience is completely gone.
Yeah, so I don't mind missing the waiting in line part, but the idea of putting on the headphones and
the excitement of it. It was an event. When a band released an album, it was an event.
Yeah,
like with like when Van Halen's Diver Down came out, and I got that and listened to it, listening to the whole album, just putting it on, listen to every song in the order that the artists actually wanted them played, because a lot of times albums used to tell a story, and they would put those songs in a sequence because there was a meaning to it.
Right.
So
Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, concept albums, I believe is what you're referring to.
Yes.
Kiss tried that one time, and it was a flop and totally awful.
It's
Eldor.
It's hit or miss.
Not Eldor, our friend, but the Elder album from Kiss was they almost ruined themselves with that. They had to quickly come up with something different to come out with to just say, okay, we're back being hard again.
Well, they're trying something new every once in a while. That's not a bad thing. People need to try to reinvent themselves. I mean, how many times did David Bowie reinvent himself over the years?
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, Johnny was just touching on that.
Yep.
Yeah, he did. I remember Kiss, they did the Dynasty, and it was like kind of disco rock.
Yeah. Let's talk about Gene Simmons with a $sign instead of an S there in the front of his name. It's all about the money, and wherever he thinks the money lies is where he goes.
Yeah, I can respect that hustle. That doesn't, but here's the thing: like when you have a target audience or hardcore fans, and some people are going to go buy that Dynasty one and go, "This is cool," and then other people are going to go, "This isn't Kiss."
Right.
It depends on who you are. I like Dynasty. The more I listened to it, the more I liked it. There's a few songs on there I really enjoyed.
That era was when I got into Kiss. When I was a kid, Kiss were like superheroes to me. They were in comic books, and
With their blood in the ink.
Yeah, there was blood and ink. Right.
I got a friend that has that issue with their blood in the red ink.
Well, they even had the action figures too. Then they had like the 12-inch dolls, and then Mego puts them out.
Kiss action figures. They absolutely did, Largo. I can't remember who that was. Gene Simmons was on like one of those talk shows, morning talk shows, and I think it was Phyllis Diller. It was Phyllis Diller. She was on the talk show, and then Kiss Kiss comes out and they play a song, and then Gene goes over there and sits on the couch there beside Phyllis Diller with whoever the talk show host was. And he looks over there at Phyllis Diller and he says, "What do you think about that?" And she goes, "Oh, I think you're just a nice Jewish boy."
I seen
And
that. She saw right through it.
"Well, how would you know that?" And she goes, "The hook gives it away."
She saw right through it. I seen that.
Right. The nose knows.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna remind you of something there, Largo, that to put that bug back in your head. Before you left to go off on your own and do your show, there was one last spotlight that we were going to do together, and we had started working on it, but it kind of went to the wayside, and that was Zorro. Have you finished the slideshow for that?
I have not. It is still on the back burner. Like, I got kind of caught up in the rabbit hole because I looked into the real person that Zorro was based on and started going down that history of that Californian bandit / folk hero whose name escapes me at the moment. But it was one of those things where the real story was almost more interesting than the fictional. But I do want to pick that back up, and I'll put that back on the docket. I'll make myself a note right now, so I don't forget.
I wasn't really trying to put your feet to the fire, but I did promise everybody that at some point that you would come back for a final hoorah and we would do the Zorro. And I think that even though I haven't seen him in the chat tonight, Bjorn Jorgensen was looking forward to that because I think he was hoping that you would touch on that softcore video that he found.
No, I might touch on Zorro the Gay Blade with what was his name? George Hamilton, the permanently tanned version of Zorro we got.
Speaking of George Hamilton, he played another one of my heroes. He played Evel Knievel. How not like Evel Knievel can you find an actor that's not Evel Knievel to play Evel Knievel in the Evel Knievel movie? I
did not realize that was him. I would not have wouldn't have cast him in that role for sure.
No. Was it Pope says, I'm way behind on the history of character show and the shows you guys have done, but those shows are great. Yeah. Johnny and Joneser and I have been doing a lot of Batman stuff because Johnny, of course, is the big Batman fan here.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Denise goes, Zorro, 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 Largo, Largo, Largo.
Yep. Johnny has a great blog he does called Bat Fan on Batman. And he does some really good deep dives, and I appreciate his work.
He does. I've read a few of his, and he has some videos on YouTube where he, if you don't like to read it, you can just put it on and listen to him read it.
Mm-hmm.
And his knowledge is the top drawer. I mean, he knows it all. Every era, your golden age, silver age, the different stories. And I could talk Batman indefinitely, but I got nothing on Johnny Sorensen. He
is the number one Bat fan. I will say that. Pope says that he made his wife listen through all the Shadow episode, and it was great.
I'm glad y'all enjoyed that.
Pop Actor says George Hamilton is the most tan man ever.
He was.
Yes, I saw the Batman ones. I need to watch them. Yes, the two Batman shows are great. The last one we did was on Batman '89, the movie, and the animated series. And of course, I think that's going to be an ongoing thing, Joneser, is the Batman shows.
Honestly, I could do the animated series, but we could do one on every episode. I mean, I could talk about that indefinitely. To me, that's the best Batman there ever was. The movies have never quite caught the spirit of the thing the way the animated series did.
The animated series was great.
Yeah, it was a great homage. They pulled a lot of great storylines from the comics, but then they kind of put their own spin on it.
Right.
They reinvigorated the character of Mr. Freeze, gave him a whole new backstory, did a great job with that. They made Clayface a tragic character. They were good writers.
Right. No, that Clayface one was cool because they kind of did Carlo Bassel and Matt Hagen kind of blended into one character, kind of like when they touched on Robin, he was Tim Drake with Jason Todd's backstory. Like they just kind of borrowed from different pieces of the lore and put, like you said, put their own spin on it. But to me, it was the spirit of the thing, the feeling you got when you watched the show, and they danced that line with the Joker too, great, between the psychopath and the murderer and the silly, gags, and it was just a great balancing act,
Well, it helped too that Bruce Timm was a real fan of the Fleischer Superman cartoons and liked that style, and then kind of melded that, kind of a Art Deco film noir with the Batman '89 that had inspired the animated show. So that's why Gotham had that, great architecture, and everything was kind of in the past, but still had some futuristic stuff to it.
Yeah, they were like Tommy guns with cell phones. Like, it was great, Yeah, it was great. It gave it its own unique look. There was nothing else on TV like it at the time. I seen from some of the behind the scenes where they were drawing the backgrounds on like black paper with lighter colors instead of like white paper with darker colors, like just to give it that dark look to it. It gave it a unique look and a unique feel to it. I mean, you really felt like you were there. I mean, it really holds up. Like, I watch them back with my kids all the time, and my kids grew up on that just like I did. I have all the DVD sets, and it's the one I keep going back to. They're like, "Oh, let's watch the movie. Let's watch the Christian Bale movie." And I'm like, "Hey, let's start the animated series again."
Yeah, I got to say they had better writing than some of the live action films that have come. Unfortunately, I was kind of hoping maybe they would, get a reboot right and get some of those writers from the animated series and see what they could do in live action. But obviously, they're smarter than we are,
I hate to say it because I'm a huge comic book fan, as you guys all know, and they're finally cranking out comic book movies like crazy. I think for the last 20 years, they've been popping them out in a way that makes me totally happy. I've been waiting all my life for this. They're finally making quality comic book movies. Now I think they need to kind of give it a rest. I mean, what do we need? Our 7th Batman and our 4th Spider-Man? And I think it's time to rest the property, let it breathe, and then let somebody come in and do it new. But I don't think that's going to happen because of the way studio rights are and things. If Sony doesn't crank out a Spider-Man property every so often, then they lose the rights, and they're not going to want to do that. And the Disney doesn't.
Yeah, we saw that with what was it, the Fantastic Four with Fox. They put out that stinker film terrible. That was so horrible, just to hold on to the rights to the characters.
Well, Warren Beatty's doing that. I mean, Tracy, have you seen that? Warren Beatty's doing these little like 30-minute specials on YouTube to keep the Dick Tracy rights. I just watched one. It's freaking weird.
Sad.
He's doing what he has to do to hold on to it.
It's kind of my heartburn with Hasbro, who has a bad habit of buying up toy franchise on intellectual properties and just sitting on them. It's like, let somebody else make the toys if you don't want to. Nope.
Right. Yeah, it's just too bad because, as fans, we're kind of stuck in the middle of this stuff. Like, do you want to watch a bad movie or have no movie at all? And that's kind of where you're at.
Yeah. All right. So, Goji Tron brings up that awful Flash movie that they did recently that I subjected myself to. And of course, spoilers, folks, at the very end of the movie, instead of Michael Keaton, it's the George Clooney version of Bruce Wayne that shows up. So Goji is looking forward to the George Clooney Batman episode, Nipples of Vengeance.
Yes. Well, it made sense for his nipples to be hard as he was fighting Mr. Freeze. So, that's the way that had to be.
That's right.
But
there's a lot of talking heads that are out there saying, we're getting to a point of superhero fatigue. It's like, no, it's bad writing fatigue. If you get us some decent scripts, we'll just keep going to the movies.
No, it is. It's also I don't know if you guys know The Witcher, or have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm a big fan. I've read all the books. I've played the video games. I am as knowledgeable as it gets. You watch that piece of crap on Netflix, and it's like, to me, the first season you almost had it right. There were some moments, but then it was just kind of like, can you just stick your middle finger up in the fan's face any harder?
Well, that's why Cavill left, because Henry Cavill read the books. Yeah. He's a fan of the story, and the guys making the show didn't want to do the books. And he's like, why do you want to do a show and not use the source material? That's dumb. I'm out. So he left.
And he was the best part of that show. I mean, if you watch season 1, any moment of that show that's worth anything is when they were doing some of the source material from the books with him, and they were playing it out. And I was happy for what I got. I was sad because here you got the perfect casting and the guy who loves this stuff, and they fucked it up, and it's like, I don't even know how you do that.
Good question.
They're talking about the Motu movie. I'll say this before I give you guys the floor here, but what we're seeing with Barbie, that's all good news for a Motu movie, because that's Mattel's property. You're going to see a Hot Wheels movie. You're going to see a Motu movie. You're going to get every freaking Mattel-based. They're going to build their Marvel Mattel universe because of that Barbie. So you're getting one. Now, will it be worth a crap, worth watching? That's up to you guys to discuss, but you're getting one.
I will tell you this. You're talking about a Motu movie. We can thank Kevin Smith for ruining that one.
Oh, he's got new life now with the $1 billion Barbie movie. So
hey, look, he just showed up. It's the Blue Sasquatch wanting to know if we're live. Hey, man, good to see you. Glad you showed up.
I mean, you'll get more Kevin Smith's crappy cartoon. That's happening too.
Yeah, there's another version. What is that? What's that one called?
Revolution.
Revolution. Okay.
And you know what? As much as I crap on it, I'm gonna watch it. I mean, you're gonna watch it too, right?
I'm gonna watch it because I got to talk about it, right? You can't talk about something.
We're gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna hope for the best, and I'm gonna have my guard up. But I mean, I'm gonna watch it.
I watched the first one, the Revelations, and the animation style was okay. And some things in the story I liked. Some of them I did not. So it was a mixed bag for me.
Here's my rant on that. Episode 1, you get that big epic battle right in front of Castle Grayskull. You got all your classic heroes with the vehicles and the toy set, and it's all come to life, and you got it for about 10 minutes. And that's as good as it was going to get. Because after that, they twisted characters into forms you don't recognize them in. You took out the protagonist and the antagonist, and then put a supporting character in the lead role, and then made her look in a way you don't even recognize her anymore, made her act in a way you don't even recognize her anymore. It just, to me, it was a lost opportunity. But that first 10 minutes, 15 minutes shows you what you could have had.
Yep.
Rick says he'd rather die than watch the Barbie movie.
I heard it wasn't that bad.
That's going out there, Rick. Really, really, really out there. Okay, Sir Clifton says no Motu movie. All they do is chop and hack it up and make it woke.
Probably.
And Largo liked that underdog that's back there, and Gojatron said, "Who watches the underdog?"
All right, he's making a veiled reference to the Watchman above the underdog there.
Mm-hmm. And OBS says she'd rather stick an ice pick in her ear than watch the Barbie movie.
Oof.
I could give two craps about the Barbie movie. What I saw was Mattel making $1 billion on a movie on one of their intellectual properties, and I figured they're going to do a movie on all their intellectual properties now.
I know what happened. All of the old ladies and Karens that played with Barbie when they were little kids went to the movie and drugged their kids to go see it too. and to get that same nostalgia that we get from Motu and Superpowers and Action Force.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
that I'm not going to watch the Barbie movie, but then I didn't play with Barbies when I was a kid either.
Here's the thing. It doesn't really matter if we enjoyed it, liked it, or cared about the subject matter. The movie was financially successful. So you're going to get a sequel. They're going to develop all their properties. I mean, it funded the whole project. You're going to get the Hot Wheels movie. You're going to get the Motu movie. What else does Mattel got? You're going to get that movie too.
Yeah, well, isn't Fast and Furious basically just Hot Wheels the movie?
Well, yeah, but I mean, how many of those did they make? You know what
I lost count.
I believe you're right.
55 or whatever. Like, I mean, and they could make one like just like those Pirates of the Caribbean. They could make 100 of those. People are always going to go see them. They don't even have to be good.
No.
You just have Johnny Depp and have him in pirate lore and be drunk, and people are going to watch it.
Yep.
Blue Sasquatch says he has an ear infection, so he's going to go watch the Barbie movie.
There you go.
So I guess while he's in the movie, he sticks an ice pick in his ear to get the infection to drain out. I don't know. So that's okay. Let them have the movie. The thing is, all these women are feminazis and turning their daughters into feminazis and their sons and blah, blah, blah. Let's not get too far over there on a show.
What was that? What was that old Kink song? Boys will be boys, and I don't remember all the lyrics.
Boys will be girls, and
that's the one.
Lola, was it?
Lola.
Girls,
wow.
Who knew?
Boys will be girls.
Motu movie has come out in conjunction with Oppenheimer 2, Electric Boogaloo.
There we go.
Well, but there are a couple out there that, when they get away from the message, you get something like Super Mario. It's just a fun movie. Everybody liked it. They didn't hit you over the head. Yeah.
Yep. That was great. It had everything in it you needed it to have.
So there's some possibilities.
There was a He-Man movie from way back. It kind of came in on the tail end of Motu, and yes, it did have Dolph Lundgren in it, and yes, I did watch it, and yes, I do own it, and it has its place.
Sure.
It has its charm in its own way, but like I remember in the theater as a kid watching that and going, "Where's Orko? Where's Battle Cat? Where's Prince Adam? What's going on here? How come there's no Trap Jaw, but we got Karg with the hook hand? Like, what's going on here?"
The budget and
I get it, Watch it back. Yeah. Franklin Gallus Skeletor steals the show, and it's mostly because the guy cast as He-Man. The only English words he knew were in the script.
Well,
that's what it is. He couldn't lead the movie, so the villain had to lead the movie. It's what
Franklin Gallus said that Skeletor was one of his most favorite roles that he ever played.
Dude, he's great in it. He steals the show.
He ate every scene he was in.
Right. Just like Al Pacino and Dick Tracy. He stole the movie.
All right. Real quick, guys, let me run something real quick because I want to remind people of something that's going on. And there's a few people have entered, but I'd like a lot more to enter. And we're going to keep this going for maybe a couple more weeks, and then we're going to do a show where we give away some stuff. So as you can see down below, I've been running this. Enter the contest to win either King Hiss or Supermobile. And there's the email, weirdfantastictoys@gmail.com. Use that email. Don't use any of my others. And I'm going to play this to tell you how to do it. And this will give us a break there for a minute so we can go do things that we need to do. Hey, guys, you want to get a chance to win Masters of the Universe Origins King Hiss or a new McFarlane Superpower Supermobile? Well, check this out. We're going to be having a giveaway contest here on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures, and here's how to enter. Just email weirdfantastictoys@gmail.com, and in the subject line put Contest King Hiss, and in the body your name and address in order to enter for King Hiss. Do the same thing Email weirdfantastictoys@gmail.com and put the subject line Contest Supermobile and in the body your name and address to enter for the Supermobile. Stay tuned to Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures to find out when the giveaway will happen. Each name will be put onto a wheel and the wheel will be spun and the last man standing will win the prize. And always be sure to hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you'll know when Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures is on. Absolutely. And as I said, be sure to send the email to the weirdfantastictoys@gmail.com address, and make sure that if you want both toys, enter both contests, but send a separate email for each one, and we'll get this. And there we go. Meant to do this. There we go. And get everybody back on the screen. Joneser, I think he went to go see a man about a horse, and Joneser, have you seen the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Mutant Mayhem? I've heard very good reviews, and Joneser said, I have not. I want it to be good. I don't know if it's good or not. It's not my cup of tea, but I might watch it when it comes to streaming. Fun fact, Dolph Lundgren was in Rocky is that 4? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Rocky 4. Yeah, yes, he was. Have I put that out as a YouTube short? I probably should, shouldn't I?
Not a bad idea.
Pope says, I'm going to win, and yes, my wife will be pissed when I display them. Okay, cool.
Added bonus.
There you go. I did send it in 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure if you got it. I think I did, Rick. I've got some people who've entered the contest. I know who they are. One person entered the contest using the email address over on my blog. I know who that is too. And I was talking to Joneser. I'm not sure whether to disqualify them for doing that or not, but I think I'm going to put them in the contest anyway. But anybody else that sends an email over there, that disqualifies you until you send an email to the proper email address. It's scrolling at the bottom. Do that, and you get a chance to win. Let's see, Groves. What the hell did they do to April in that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle film? I don't know. Maybe Joneser can tell us when he comes back. What did they do to April?
Race swapped her.
Does she have red hair?
She has red hair, but then she's got glasses.
That's why. If you have red hair, and you're not, if your character has red hair, it is not going to be a red-haired person. It's going to be race swap.
I suppose they did that to Jim Gordon in Batman too. I suppose.
Yeah,
it's not safe to be a ginger in Hollywood.
Does ginger lives matter?
I guess not.
OBS has a point about shorts. They do get a lot of traffic, and they do get people to subscribe because of the way they're formatted. People will subscribe to you. Now, here's the thing. I'll watch it happen. So you'll release a short, and you'll get a whole bunch of subs, and then a few days later, all those subs will go back away again.
Yeah, I pretty much just use the shorts as a way to advertise longer format shows. Other than that, I don't really mess with it too much. Not this time consuming.
You know, I tried that for a little while, and I didn't find it worked as well as I thought it would, and I found out why. Grindhead was the one that told me, he said that the way the shorts are released, it could be weeks after the show you're trying to get people to watch is out, and then the short comes out. So, you know, it doesn't like lead into it like you think it would. The original April was black Filipino in the comics. They race swapped her first by making her white.
See, and I don't know
That's
about
true.
that. I want to say she was curly black hair, but I will say they did race swap Baxter Stockman for sure, because he was African American in the original comics, and there was a reason for that when they developed the 87 or 88 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. They had a character who was going to be based off of Doc Emmett Brown from Back to the Future. And I think he was going to be a good guy, and he was going to be the inventor of the turtle weapons. And then they decided, the Baxter Stockman had to be a bad guy. And so they had all these concepts of the Emmett Brown character. And so they race swapped Baxter Stockman. I do have the original comics with April O'Neil and whatnot, and it would have been hard to tell what race they were going for with that. I
Like a
saw
white
a white
woman.
woman with black curly hair. Why
Like
she ended up being a redheaded hot woman in a yellow jumpsuit later, I don't know, but she definitely wasn't a 250-pound black woman, but they can make her whatever they want to make her and whatever version of her they want to make her in. To me, the one from the cartoon is the one in my mind, because that's the one I remember as a kid, and the one from the movie who I had a crush on.
Ted thought
Well,
she
it's
was
like
a
anything else. I think she was. That seems right. They never really. I don't know if they ever really said, particularly in the comic. It's been a long time since I read it. The old black and white comics. She definitely had a more ethnic look to her, I'd say. But it was kind of ambiguous. But
does it
it's-
matter? Here's where I'm getting.
doesn't.
Does it matter? Does it matter if black, white, Asian, Filipino, Japanese, Chinese, dirty knees, look at these? Does it even matter? April O'Neil, and she's a human being, and she was a friend of the Turtles. I mean, to me, race doesn't mean anything.
Right. There are some characters that their ethnicity is definitely tied to how the character was written. That makes sense. Others you
Black
can
Panther.
play with. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. You wouldn't have an Irishman playing Black Panther. It just wouldn't fit.
No. Tonto.
Yeah. Although Johnny Depp did give it a try, bless his heart.
Right.
Pop actor Rick met Sylvester Stallone when he was 10 years old at a bingo hall in New York. He told me to get lost when I approached him. It really hurt me. I can see that. Get lost, kid.
He might have been trying to get a bingo going. You never know.
Right.
Never meet your heroes.
Yeah, that's true. I got backstage at WWE or whatever, and everybody didn't really want to talk to us at all. The two people that I remember that gave us any time of day was Jim Ross, shook my hand and gave me a lot of his time, and Sergeant Slaughter. Everybody else was pretty much dismissive and, indifferent.
Pope says the thing is, if they would just make a cool Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles without injecting any political shit into it, it would be great. Have my doubts that they would be able to do that. I don't know. I know that the Get Woke, Go Broke is true, and it is happening before our eyes, a la Disney. Disney is losing shit tons of money right now because of their politics. And the thing is, just make a damn good movie. You don't have to inject all this shit into it and ram it down our throats to make a good movie.
Well, we were talking Witcher earlier. Now that's all based off of like Slavic and Polish,
Folklore.
mythology and folklore, and they're trying to shove every race under the sun in there. And the argument was, if you play the video games, you don't see anybody other than white people. Well, this is supposed to be, a version of like 1200 folklore. There weren't any people of color in that society. That was what it was. Same thing, kind of like Lord of the Rings gets that argument too, where there was no black people in Lord of the Rings, unless they were orcs.
That movie, The Northman, that came out recently, kind of the proto Hamlet story. it was written for a particular type of person in a particular time period, and those were the people portrayed in the film, and it made sense. So
Right. Like, if we did a story of like African tribal warriors or Indians or Chinese dynasty, I'm not going to be watching the Chinese dynasty movie and going, how come there's no Swedish people? I mean, there's not supposed to be Swedish people in ancient China.
If they ever wanted to redo The Color Purple or Roots, I don't think that anybody's going to be clamoring for a race swap of any of those major characters, because it wouldn't make any sense.
And here's the thing, like I was saying before, where the race doesn't matter unless it's integral to the story or the mythology or the setting, then, but I mean, I'm all for being inclusive and all of that, but at the same time, at the expense of what you're doing, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's got to be good storytelling. And that's something that a lot of the writers seem to have forgotten or just don't really understand how to do. Most of the good writers have either fled or passed away from alcoholism or some other recreational pharmaceutical. So,
well, I mean, does it feel like to you guys like it's almost like affirmative action Hollywood writing now? Like, let's put the gay character here. Let's put a black character here. Let's get a transgendered character here. Let's get like they're just shoving this stuff in there.
Well,
whether
it's a checklist, we got to check off the box for
not.
everything.
Right. It's like that they're just pushing it in there without like, does it belong there? It's I don't know.
Well,
it's like they want to tell their story, around Batman. They want to tell their story around The Witcher. They want to tell their story around He-Man. They're not trying to tell He-Man.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, when they get people into the writer's room who have no respect for the source material, you get what you get. And we're seeing that all over these franchises we used to enjoy, that now we're shaking our head going, what are you doing? What did you do to Luke Skywalker? What did you do to Han? You never gave us the three together on screen one last time. If you've never seen the original movies, you wouldn't understand why that's important. So
well,
it's bad writing.
It goes with what I was talking to Joneser. Well, Joneser was talking about earlier. Do we have cape fatigue with the superhero movies? Maybe, or maybe it's the fact that they're being written like shit, and nobody wants to go see that anymore.
Right.
That seems to be the case. I think if we were to get a new group of writers who have actually studied their craft, love the source material, and want to do good storytelling, there'd be another golden age, but we're not seeing that anytime soon.
Well, and that's just the thing. Like, it's got to be centered on the character, the story, what the show needs, what has to happen. Like, I mean, and I hate to repeat myself, but like with the Masters of the Universe Revelation is like you removed the protagonist and the antagonist by the end of episode 1. What do you have left now? You're telling a story with the supporting character now. Now you made the supporting character the main character. I don't even know who the antagonist is anymore. It's a fetch quest for 6 episodes or whatever it was. And then, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it just, what happened?
Now remember Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith ran home from school.
We all know that.
In his 30s to watch He-Man every day. I guess he was held back in school for a long time. I don't know.
Here's the thing, this wasn't hard. We needed a muscle man on a giant green tiger fighting a skeleton wizard over a castle. Like, that's what we needed. That's what this was. That's what it's about. If you're going to write Batman, you need Commissioner Gordon on a smoky rooftop, with fog and the bat signal in the sky, and the Two-Face has robbed the Second National Bank of its $2 bills. And you know what I mean? These aren't hard to write. This isn't, we don't want anything crazy or weird. Like, you just give us what we're asking for. It's like you watch wrestling, right? We've all seen the gimmick in pro wrestling where the guy's in the headlock and he's down and out and he puts his hand up and his hand falls, right? And then what happens the second time, Bill? Hand falls again, right?
It's going to fall again, but it's going to stay up the third time.
There you go. We all know that's going to happen. We need that. We have to see that. we're not upset by it when we get what we want.
I'm going to throw Pope's question at you. The Batman comic guys, was it faithful to year one Batman comic? I thought it was pretty good. No, it was not faithful to the year one, but go.
Are we talking about the most recent Batman movie?
The Batman.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to like it. It had its flaws. For one, I thought it was about an hour too long.
Yeah,
there's about an hour of that movie I don't think we needed, and most of it was probably Batman walking in slow motion in the rain to a Nirvana song, that we just didn't need. Where it lost me is the scene where he tells the guy, "I'm vengeance," and then he punches him like 90,000 times. Like, to me, Batman doesn't need to punch a guy 90,000 times. Batman needs to punch a guy one time, and he's out. If he has to punch the guy 80 freaking times, that just tells me Batman doesn't know how to punch. Adam West could punch a guy so hard the freaking word "pow" would appear in the fucking sky, and the guy would be done. This guy has to hit him 90 freaking times. It's just ridiculous.
That was overdone. Dang it, you guys are killing me. I think Pope liked it. Yeah, I'm not saying it was a bad movie.
The car chase scene was top drawer. The Penguin casting was great. The prosthetic on Colin Farrell was great. It had its moments. I mean, there were some good points to it. It had a decent mystery story to it. The Riddler was a decent take on the Riddler, trying the Zodiac to it, trying to make the non-silly Riddler. It had its moments, but for me, I was coming in wanting something else, and I didn't get it.
It was kind of in my opinion, kind of a mix between Frank Miller's Year One and The Long Halloween, which was another great comic that they took elements of, and it was good, but I would have rather had those stories as two separate story arcs in more keeping with what the comics did. I think it would have been a better two movie arc to do it that way. What they did wasn't terrible, but if you want a good representation, the animated version of Batman Year One, I think is a better movie.
I was going to suggest that if you want to watch what Batman Year One was in the comics as close as you're ever going to get it, it's going to be that animated movie that they released, and it is on DVD. I have a copy of it here, and I much preferred the comic over that animated movie, but the animated movie was good, and like I said, it was about as close as you're going to get to it. Are they ever going to film that? No.
Well,
no.
You got pieces of that in Batman Begins with Christian Bale.
Yeah, there were
elements of that in there. That was, to me, a decent movie version of Batman starting out. It had pieces where you felt like this is what it would look like in the real world setting. But I don't want to see Batman.
There was another recent one that came out. It's like Batman Year of the Dragon or something like that, where he teams up with one of the Kung Fu heroes from DC. And it was fun. It was definitely an homage. Yes, there was the Bronze Tiger.
That's a good one. I've seen that.
And it's an homage to those old 70s Kung Fu flicks. It's got that kind of flavor to it. It's a very different take on the Bat, but it's very much like what Neil Adams was writing, where he was, the playboy who was, going into international mysteries, being a detective, but also, getting into some shenanigans. So that was good. I would recommend that one.
To watch that animated it's a fun Batman animated thing to watch. You did have that Neil Adams vibe that you're talking about, or even like where he would go up against Ra's al Ghul in the 70s, and you got that, like you said, international man of mystery. I'm really glad that you brought up the Long Halloween aspect to the newer Batman movie, because they did kind of have that kind of whodunit, clues and figure it out type vibe to it.
Yeah, they definitely drew heavily from the Holiday Killer for their reinterpretation of the Riddler, which wasn't bad.
No, it was okay, But to me, it's like I think I would have rather had a guy in green pajamas run into the room with his question mark cane twirling it, and that was just what I wanted.
I liked the animated version's portrayal of the Riddler because they made him more sophisticated. It was his whole thing was he was smarter than everybody else, including the Bat. And that was his whole compulsion, was to outsmart the Batman.
No, that's great. And it's great. That was a great take on him because they did play off the intellect in the intellectual part. I don't know. There was something about that Frank Gorshin performance where he's just a goof, and I just loved it.
It has its place too. I have a fondness for Batman 66. I love the camp. Sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb. It's
right.
And always carry your shark repellent on your utility belt. Those are fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do think that modern day Batman can't be campy. We can't do that. But I do think that walking a tightrope in some of that, like how okay, here's a question for you, Bill and Jim. How do you do Robin in a Batman movie and be serious? He's got green frickin' booties and a yellow cape and a red leotard. Like how does he fit in there?
Surprisingly, Tim Burton figured it out. If Tim Burton had been allowed to do a third Batman film the way he wanted to, he had a plan for introducing Robin as a street kid. He was going to borrow more heavily from the Jason Todd storyline. And he was going to be a black kid from the streets of Gotham who, probably did try to steal the wheels off the Batmobile, but he had, I know
what you're talking about, Jim. I hate to interrupt you, but I'll tell you exactly what the storyline was going to be. The kid was a mechanic, and he wore a mechanic shirt with an R on it for his name, Robin. And when the Batmobile broke down, he was going to fix the Batmobile for Batman.
That's right. And we would have got Billy D. Williams as Two-Face. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
God, I wanted to see.
Yeah, that the studio refused to allow him to do Billy D. Williams as Two-Face.
Well, they're also, by the end of Batman Returns, we weren't selling Happy Meal toys and we weren't happy anymore, and we wanted him to go away. And if you're Warner Brothers, and we needed campy Batman back, and that's what they wanted. That's what they got.
Yep. And your mileage will vary.
He's talking about the Teen Titans, guys. I watched that HBO show that had Nightwing and the gang in it. And
it had its moments.
The casting wasn't terrible. I watched the first season. There were some things in there. It's like, you guys have not read Teen Titans, obviously. But it could have been something. I liked the idea of the transition of him going from Robin to Nightwing. They did that well. They really made Batman kind of a jerk in that.
I actually enjoyed. They did some like Elseworlds or alternate reality where Batman went nuts and threw the Joker off of a roof and killed him, and I kind of enjoyed that little story arc that they did there. I mean, even though like the old school in me was like dying, like, you can't do this, but like when I let go and just enjoyed it for what it was, I did enjoy it.
Right. I mean, it's the thing they keep going back to with the character of the Red Hood. And when Jason Todd and Bruce Wayne are, confront each other after Jason's resurrection, he's like, there's a reason I didn't kill the Joker. There's a reason I don't kill. And he explains that very eloquently. And, guys need to read the comics before you start making TV shows. That's all I'm saying.
I'll tell you one that was better on the HBO DC was the Swamp Thing show, and I was very sad they didn't do a season 2 of that because that was actually very enjoyable. That
was good. They even did the Phantom Stranger. They did the Phantom Stranger on that. That's the only time I can remember him ever showing up on anything like that, and it was good.
Well, and they were starting to get like the Blue Devil, and like I was excited for a season 2 of that, and I guess it was deemed too expensive to do, or I don't know. But I thought it was well cast. I thought the special effects were good. It worked that creepy horror vibe. That I was digging it.
The Doom Patrol was not terrible either. The first season, I didn't watch much beyond that, but. Again, that's another one where you can go into some of the weirder areas of the DC universe and play around with stuff.
Sure. No, I even like the Challengers of the Unknown.
Actually,
and, Commandy.
You talking about Doom Patrol? You talking about Doom Patrol? I'm gonna tell you, I watched all of those, and the thing is, I read the comics in what was it, the late '80s, early '90s when they were redoing the
Grant
Doom Patrol
Morrison run.
Yes, and I can tell you this: just like the Sandman, if you watch the Sandman series that came out on Netflix, they did a pretty damn good job of capturing that era of the Doom Patrol with Danny the Street and all of the undertones that were in the comic at the time. It didn't bother me a bit because they were just as woke as you could possibly be way back in the day. So what they were doing what they're trying to do today right back then, in my opinion. And the Doom Patrol, I liked it. I really did.
I thought it was.
I'm glad
they played into the surrealism.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen Doom Patrol on that. Yeah, I've heard it was good, but I have not watched it.
It was good. Now Largo watched first season. He liked it. To me, the first season was hard, but as it got more into it, when Flex Mentallo shows up, or Mentallo as they call him, I would call him Flex Mentallo. When he shows up, and then Danny the Street showed up, I'm like, this is straight out of the fucking comic, and it's good. So
I would love to see DC develop Commandy, Last Boy on Earth. I thought that was a very
well, they
I
that would be
fun.
Fun.
Those comics, and they were fun and very like Planet of the Apes vibe to them,
And with the resurrection of Mad Max and all this post-apocalyptic stuff, Commandy would fit right in there. They could really go somewhere with that.
I enjoyed those Batman, the Brave and the Bold cartoons where they had it in there.
Yes. Yeah, they did a lot of great homages to that, fun things from the Silver Age in that. And it was a great take. It's like they didn't want to just redo what the animated series was. They were taking it in a different direction, and it worked, and it was well done.
Yeah, no, it was neat they recast the voice, and everything was different. And if you're going to touch it again, why would you redo what had already been done? Do it different,
Right. So you can do a lighthearted Batman adventure, but be true to the Silver Age comics, which they did in Brave and the Bold. I think they did really well.
Well, and I think another thing, Brave and the Bold checked that box where we got a little campy, but not too campy, and we were dark, but not too dark, and you could kind of have a little bit of both.
And,
I think the best. The
James Gunn's going to do Creature Commandos now. Can he do that right?
He's got a pretty fair shot. He has the right sense of humor to do Creature Commandos because they're another quirky misfit group of great horror type characters. He could pull it off. He has that ability. When you look at the ensemble casts he's done. With what he did with Suicide Squad, what he did with bringing together some of the other elements with Guardians of the Galaxy and kind of redoing that, he could do it. I think it might be okay. I would love to see, in that same horror vein, I'd love to see the Midnight Suns from Marvel done right. We got a little taste of it with that Man-Thing black and white deal that they did. And I was loving that. I'd love to see more of that. Werewolf by Night, Man-Thing, Tomb of Dracula.
I've
You're
heard that.
missing out on that. That's probably the only Marvel thing that they've done on Disney Plus that was any damn good in the last year. And Largo's agreeing with me on that.
That's
I
what
agree.
everybody says. Yeah, I found the time to watch the first couple episodes of She-Hulk, and I watched all of Moon Knight.
Oh, that's awful. That's awful. She-Hulk, awful. But that Halloween special that they did last year with the man thing in it, yeah, Werewolf by Night, yeah. And the thing about it is we're spoiling it for everybody by even telling them the man thing was in it. That was supposed to be a secret. But
well, I'd seen that YouTube spoiled it before you did. I seen that.
Yeah. It's even if you know it's well worth a watch. It's well done. Whoever wrote that one, I'd like to see them get more serious and do more. You know, if they wanted to do a legal comedy drama, they should have got the writers from Ally McBeal and done that. But again, they had a concept. They just had some really bad writers that just didn't know the character. So that's why a lot of these shows are just not great.
seem to recollect one of the writers on there said that she was trying to piss off the audience.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, I want to say that Witcher script writers were caught saying something of that nature too.
That's like Kevin Smith and them who were on some panel somewhere giggling about the fact that they built Orko up just so they could kill him off.
So strange.
It's just weird. I mean, let's take our target audience, the one that we want to make money off of, and piss them off.
I don't get it. You know, that might work in the wrestling arena to a certain extent, like with the
like I've always said, there's a difference between heel heat and go away heat.
Right. With the right kind of heat, you can draw, because the idea is to draw them back in, not to push them away.
Right. I mean, the storyline of wrestling is, and always will be, in my opinion, and they've gotten away from it, is that the heels are doing evil and the good guys are there to try to defeat them. And every week you go back to see the heels get theirs, but they don't. They do something underhanded and they keep winning. But you have to come back because one of these days the good guys are going to win. That's the storyline. That's the story they tell in the ring every time they go in there. But they've gotten away from that. And that's why it's not good anymore, in my opinion. It's the same.
That and these guys are all look like they work at the freaking liquor store in your hometown. Like these guys don't look like wrestlers anymore. And that's probably because they're not allowed to mainline steroids like they did in the 80s, you know. But I mean, it's like these
allegedly
look like fucking action figures, dude. When these guys walk down the ring, they're like freaking 6'7", and the guy was friggin' 275 pounds, and his muscles on his muscles, and you know, and guy's crazy talking about the warrior with the friggin', you know, and it's like you couldn't ignore this person if you tried. Now
I remember the midget wrestling. That was fun.
The channel just like that. You know what? Oh, look, they're all gathering outside the ring again. I bet the guy's gonna jump off and they're all gonna catch him. Now, why would they do that? Why wouldn't you just let him fall? It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, some of the scripts and choreography could use some polishing, that's for sure.
Well, it doesn't even look like a fight anymore. Like I was watching some of the stuff from the 80s and the 70s, and maybe it's a little campy or it's a little dated, but it at least had the illusion of it looked like two men trying to fight.
Well, you know, sometimes it was. Let's look at Dick Murdoch, for instance. Dick Murdoch went out and beat the shit out of some guy because he wouldn't go with the program right there in the damn ring in front of everybody. Right. So every once in a while you would get something real, somebody doing the business for themselves,
but you watch
to catch that, and sometimes it would happen.
But you watch today's product, and it just looks like two guys cooperating with each other doing a flippant stunt show. It doesn't even look like a fight anymore. I don't believe they're trying to hurt each other.
Scripted. Back in the day, you had to ad lib what you were going to say. You knew what your point is you were trying to make, but then you would go out there and you either had it or you didn't. And the same thing was in the ring. You knew what the outcome was going to be. It was the getting there. That was all of the two guys that were in the ring.
You know, when I came south of the border, I started getting into the lucha libre. You want to talk about a fun show? These guys with the masks on and the big personas, they definitely do it upright, and it's very entertaining. And you don't have to know Spanish; you can still watch the fight and enjoy it without, having the commentary. So, yeah, check some of that out if you're looking for something that's, a little nostalgic.
I grew up in California, and we used to get some of the Mexican wrestling on TV. And I didn't understand a word of it. I just listened to the announcer. I don't need to know what he's saying. It doesn't matter, But I mean, there were a lot of these guys that it was just great to watch. La Parca, before he was even in WCW, he was a lot
like 2 or 3 La Parcas, if I'm not mistaken.
There was, but I mean that's a whole different animal over there. That the way, or even like if you go into back in Canada and with Stampede Wrestling, that was a different style. And then if you went into Texas with the I was the freaking guy with the claw. Thank you. And every region had kind of their own little style or their own format or the way they did things. And I think once it all became, shoehorned into the WWF and it turned cartoony in the 80s, and it may have gotten more popular and more eyes on it than it had before, but it kind of lost some of that legitimacy.
Well, the WCW tried their best to ruin Lucha Libre when they brought them in. And then the WWF killed it off completely when they all come riding out on riding lawnmowers and that kind of bullshit.
I'm crazy. Crazy.
Another good place to find decent wrestling is Japan. Even back in the day, a lot of great wrestlers would go to Japan and, in their off season. And those bouts were epic. A lot of them.
Yes. And they take it more seriously like a sport over there than they do here nowadays.
For sure.
Presented differently. See, it should be presented like it's a real sport. Vince
McMahon had to admit it because of various things, but
we all knew it anyway. It's not like anyone went, "Oh, no, you're telling me," we all we knew it anyway. Nobody was floored by that.
Right. Everybody liked the kayfabe. They knew what it was, and they played along. Unless you were like 5 or 6 and weren't in on the joke yet, everybody knew.
I remember friends in school, because this is my age, where we were asking if Papa Shango's magic was real, or if Kane was really the Undertaker's brother and he was really burned under that mask, or well, I saw Papa Shango. He made the Ultimate Warrior throw up, and
Ultimate Warrior threw up because he was all blown up from running to the ring and shaking the ropes. And
it wasn't voodoo.
No,
voodoo's real, man. You don't mess with voodoo.
I'll have to do my episode on the Brave and the Bold issue with Batman and the Phantom Stranger. Have you ever read that?
I don't.
Back in the day,
that was a cool issue.
Yeah, that whole run was great. There were some really good guest writers in there.
The Brave and the Bold was in its own little universe anyway.
Yeah. And they took more of that, international stories, getting him together with other heroes that wouldn't get a whole lot of attention elsewhere. And those were fun because they could do things that were still in continuity, but weren't quite in the same wherever Detective Comics and the regular titles were. They could go in some different directions.
Well, Marvel stole the idea with Spider-Man and Marvel Team Up. They took the same concept and just put Spider-Man with all the B-list heroes and did the same thing.
And the thing with the Thing 2-in-1, what was that one?
Was the same idea. I got a whole run of those Thing 2-in-1s.
Those are good too. I enjoy those. My favorite team-up ones, though, from Marvel were the street level heroes, the heroes for hire. Luke Cage, the Iron Fist, and whoever else they would team up with, and they had some fun runs. Then they tried to do all the cosmic stuff, and it was like, you lost the script, guys.
Right. Yeah, they had like Misty Knight and those were fun.
Yep.
Fun stories to do.
Well, guys, I promised everybody. Now, look, we've gone on 2.5 hours here babbling, and I didn't mean to do that, but I did promise everybody that we were going to improve our vocabulary. Are you guys up for watching this together?
How much time we got on it?
It's about 10 minutes. So let's watch this little quickie, and of course I invite the chat to lampoon this like you always do. Of course, we're going to be in here doing the same thing. So let me set this up so we can get this going.
Oh yeah, Mystery Science Theater 4000.
Of course, I had to take the beginning and ending music off and replace it with something else. So I wouldn't get it. We're going to build our vocabulary.
On the board,
However, your committee will continue to investigate and hopes to present a definite recommendation at next month's meeting of the Civic Association.
Thank you, Mr. Hanson. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Willis, I want to talk about, I think we need a playground here on the west side. We need it because we need a place for our boys and girls to play.
Sounds like me on my first
Mr.
live
Willis
stream.
has an important idea to express, but he lacks the vocabulary to express it. Finding the exact words to fit your ideas is one of the first steps in building your vocabulary. People can be interested in new ideas when those ideas are expressed in well-selected words. This use of exact words to communicate your ideas applies to written words as much as to spoken words.
Hi, Dad. Would you be interested in... Oh,
I just
what's the
made a
matter?
fool out of myself.
Nothing.
Something go wrong at the meeting?
Yes. I sort of made a... What's on your mind, son?
I thought you might like to read my term paper before I hand it in tomorrow.
Well, yes, of course. Our public parks, monuments, or playgrounds. Huh?
I know Taki's so good.
Much of the juvenile delinquency in our community can be traced to our lack of public playgrounds and our lack of a planned recreational program.
Midnight basketball.
We are not without our public parks, but they are landscape monuments rather than playgrounds planned for the direction of youthful energy into character-building channels. Why, Pete, you express your ideas very well. But this isn't the way you talk, is it?
Well, that depends. But you see, this is a term paper, and, well, as I understand it, when you're talking or writing, you use words that fit the occasion.
But here, the words you use, they sound good, and they seem to be the right words to say what you mean.
Well, that's what I...
Where'd you learn all those words?
Well, you see, I keep a vocabulary notebook. It's a good way to learn new words to increase your vocabulary. So you can express your ideas better. Whenever I come across a new word, reading or listening to someone, I write it
My
down.
English teacher's been giving me
Later, I put it in
special
this
lessons.
notebook.
Let's see.
I write down the pronunciation and the definitions of each word. And then some synonyms.
Cursive. No modern kid will ever be able to read it.
But then, of course, I try using the word. Using the
It's a secret code
word
now.
correctly a few times is what really fixes it in your vocabulary. And a good working vocabulary helps you to be more explicit.
Well, you certainly surprised me with your vocabulary. Yes, indeed. Be more explicit.
Explicit. We need a fucking
So Mr.
playground.
Willis began a vocabulary notebook in a business-like way. First, he considered the context in which the word was used.
Now, where did I hear that? From Mary. She was talking about redecorating this room.
Dear, I think we ought to put a valance over the window. It would make it more dramatic. Don't you think a valance would be effective?
What's a valance?
Valance must be some kind of decoration. But do I have to bother with all these special words? Maybe I'd better. I certainly want to have a say in how the house is decorated. Ah, valance. Short curtain as the valance over the top of a window. A valance would look good up there. Maybe this will help me understand what Mary's talking about.
Valance had only a single meaning. Other words, like vacillate, have many meanings. The only way to tell which meaning is intended is from the context in which it is used.
Synonyms: fluctuate, waver, oscillate, Wait a minute. Too many words. Mean nearly the same thing?
Words.
Still, they're different.
We don't understand.
Nobody can learn all those words. I'm going to
Like
bed.
the word dude. You could use dude in a bunch of ways. Like the light turned red when you were
But
getting
next
to
morning,
it.
Mr. Willis found he couldn't escape unfamiliar words.
Found an
when his
extra
wife
20
called.
bucks in your pants.
John.
Ugh.
Yes, dear.
Will you stop at the library and get me that anthology of plays?
All
The
right,
fuck's an
dear.
anthology?
Anthology. Why does everybody in this family use these fancy words?
Big words.
In the
If
morning,
only I hadn't
newspaper, he
eaten all
found
those
words
paint
that
chips
looked
full of
familiar
lead
enough,
when I was a kid.
Yet when he studied them, their meanings weren't explicit. Even in his work, he began to be aware that he used words that he could not define precisely.
That it is not
Yes,
feasible to allocate necessary production facilities.
What do all these big words
Allocate.
mean?
Excuse me, Mr. Willis. There's a gentleman here from the ABC Printing Company. He wants to discuss their new electrotyping process with variable type.
Keep saying like every word.
I'll
I
tell
love it.
him you're
Yeah,
busy to
like
come
I was
back
wanting to
later.
build this like park and like there was like this dude that like
Allocate.
Anthology.
Feasible.
Electrotyping.
Allocate.
Anthology.
Feasible. Allocate. Feasible.
All these words! These words are driving me crazy!
You know, Dad, explicit. A good working vocabulary helps you to be more
Can't be
explicit.
put into words.
Well, I guess I need this. Anthology. An anthology of modern plays. This is the book Mary wanted. Oh, so that's what an anthology is. A collection. Now, what else
No
can
pictures.
we trip to the
This old
library?
and not know words.
Each of
God.
us has certain interests which we need to share with others. If we know the special vocabulary, we will understand what people are talking about, and other people will understand us. This book will help Mr. Willis have a say in the decoration of his home. This book on the fundamentals of printing will help him in the conduct of his business. Books on special interest subjects help us build the vocabulary we need to talk the language of
We
others.
need to learn are in books.
And
I mean,
that's
this
not the
is a
only
novel
language I'm
concept.
going to talk. At
No
the
pun
next
intended.
meeting of the Civic Association, I'm going to sell my idea, or my name isn't Willis.
The chair recognizes Mr. Willis.
Mr. Chairman,
there's a chance, buddy.
ladies and gentlemen,
Don't blow it.
for many years now, our city council has wavered between a policy of no parks and beautiful but useless parks. The time has come to present the council with an ultimatum.
He
An
cheated.
ultimatum.
He used his damn kids'
Demanding for the
term
west
paper.
side
Yes, people can be interested in new ideas when those
If you're
ideas
not
are
cheating,
expressed
you're not
clearly
trying
and
to win.
effectively. Increased knowledge of words has enabled Mr. Willis to think through his ideas more logically and to present them more effectively to an appreciative audience.
We will show them
Now
that it is
Mr. Willis
feasible.
will have a chance to use his white panel van.
More or less than a plan for spending our money.
Collect
A plan which can and must be adapted to meet our needs.
Words that we choose carefully to say what we mean, choose for the audience and the occasion, help us gain support for our ideas.
All parts
and not only in speaking. Effective use of words helps us think and write more forcefully and with more interest when we prepare term papers and other school assignments. Command of words helps us contribute to debates and discussions. We communicate more quickly and more effectively. Being skilled in the use of words aids us in selling ourselves when we look for jobs. Whenever we're around people, a good vocabulary helps us say what we mean and understand what others mean.
Mean what we say.
Pete has developed his skill in communication through words, just as Mr. Willis has, just as you can, by being alert to words, by using words that say exactly what you mean, by building your vocabulary.
To see that program carried out, then we can achieve our goal by going before the council and making our demands explicit.
Well, I can explicitly steal your children from the new program.
I love how the announcer would come in and give us that subtle hint that I'm here to let you know I know my words and I'm smarter than everyone else that we're talking about here.
Absolutely.
It's like, really?
You like smell the smug on him.
I'm surprised Dick York is in. Well, we did Dick York was that not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken. Dude, some of these old videos are pretty helpful. This one's just extra creepy. Like the definition of a woman. Yeah.
Don't try to understand women. Women understand women and they hate each other.
Can I get a harumph? Harumph.
Harumph.
Hey, I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
I've got a few words to describe my words. Big words.
Yep. Like Grandpappy used to say, don't be trying to, put dollar words out of a nickel mouth that don't fit.
Mine used to say, don't let your alligator mouth write a check your parakeet ass can't cash.
I like that one.
I liked it too. I've used it all my life.
Well, all right, guys. It's been 2 hours and 40 minutes, and I'm sure that we could talk all night long, but we don't have all night. So I'm going to call it a day. We're going to feed some ducks, and then we're going to head out the door. I'll give everybody a chance to say their last little piece here before we go as we feed these ducks.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me on. Wilhelm and I are going to be talking about some 1/18 scale goodies tomorrow, and Monday is Infinite Playlist.
Absolutely. And check it all out on Largo's channel called Largo's Lair and on Wilhelm's channel, Wilhelm Toy and Hobby. And Joneser, what have you been up to? What can we expect over there on Motu Joneser channel?
Did a poll to see which Origins figure I should do next. It looked like Dragon Blaster Skeletor won. I think that's a water squirting toy, so I'm sure Lyric's gonna want to be a part of that. So you can probably look forward to seeing my son squirt me with the Dragon Blaster Skeletor toy when we unbox it.
Woohoo!
That's the plan.
All right, we're gonna take off for the night, and we'll be back tomorrow at noon for a Sunday hangout, and we're gonna check out in detail the Bat Cave and talk about some new superpower stuff that's coming out from over there at McFarlane Toys, and what we might want to expect in future lines as well over there. And that's what I have planned, sort of, kind of. I don't plan anything, I just do shit. And that's the way it is over here at Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. And remember, everybody, have a good journey.
Special thanks to the channel supporters. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like, subscribe, and share the video.